my family lineage is settlers from the 1500s.
Colonialists.
Yeah,
You
colonials.
don't look
yeah.
very Native American to me.
I am Native American. Whites
not.
are Native Americans. What are you
Sorry,
talking about?
you're not.
What are you talking about?
You're a little bit more than a far-right Republican.
Hey, what can I say?
I think you could say I'm a fascist.
Yeah, I am.
Listen to me. I am an immigrant. I'm speaking from personal experience.
Get the hell out.
I don't even like... I should get the hell out.
Yes.
Why?
I don't want you here.
I'm Mehdi Hassan. I'm a journalist. I'm the editor of Zeteo. And today I'm surrounded by 20 far-right conservatives. My first claim is Donald Trump is pro-crime and pro-criminal. Welcome.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm Mehdi.
I would just like to ask, what makes someone pro-crime versus, anti-crime?
I think when you're soft on criminals, when you let criminals out of prison, when you pardon people who've assaulted police officers, you're pro-criminal. Donald Trump pardoned almost 1,600 people who were involved in January the 6th. I think 600 of them had been charged with assaulting a police officer or obstructing a police officer. 170 had pled guilty to assaulting a police officer. 70 had pled guilty to assault with a deadly weapon. J.D. Vance said, we're not going to pardon the violent criminals from January 6th. Donald Trump pardoned all of them. Are you okay with that?
I would say January 6th is a very special case. I would say it's almost a climax point in history. I would just phrase the question this way. Right now in the LA protests, if they were to, just for example, they were to rush the capital of LA, I mean, they'd have to move over all the homeless people living in tents on the steps of the Capitol. But if they were managed to get into the Capitol and they were just protesting, peacefully, let's say police officers were rushing them in. They were letting them in and saying, hey, you guys can go in, like we have many testimonies that say.
What about the violent ones, though?
Okay, violent ones like
Like
what?
a man named David Dempsey, a judge, a Reagan-appointed judge, sentenced him to 20 years in prison. He stomped on police officers' heads. The judge said his conduct was exceptionally egregious. He attacked police officers with flagpoles and pepper spray. Donald Trump pardoned him. There's a man named Daniel Rodriguez. He got 12 years in prison for taking a stun gun and tasing a police officer in the neck and giving him a heart attack. The judge said he was a one-man army of hate. Donald Trump pardoned him. Does that not make Trump pro-criminal? He's letting violent criminals out of prison.
I would say no, it doesn't make him pro-criminal.
You're okay with that?
I did not say that. I said that one pardon against somebody.
It was 1,600 pardons. 600 of those were people
one
charged
one
with...
example that you just gave me.
I can give you more. Just should I keep going?
Fine.
Shane
And I'll say the
Jenkins.
exact same thing every single
Then
time.
your argument will fall apart because it's
Okay,
not just
go
one
for
example
it,
if I
go
keep
for it.
going.
Go for it then.
Okay, Shane Jenkins got 7 years in prison for 9 criminal offenses, attacking police with a deadly weapon, destroying government property.
How do
Trump pardoned
pardons
him.
that probably shouldn't have happened turn into pro-crime?
So you've agreed that they shouldn't have been pardoned?
Sure, but that wasn't your claim, was January 6th. Your claim was Trump is pro-crime.
Yeah, because he pardons criminals.
Okay, I
He
would say that
pardoned
that's a
not-
fault.
Let's talk about non-January
Sure.
6 people.
Okay.
He's pardoned people like Paul Wolchak recently, who took millions of dollars from his own employees, was sentenced to tax crimes, had to pay back $4 million. Trump pardoned him. He bought himself a $2 million yacht. Why is he pardoning criminals like that?
Well, I don't know. I don't think you should. I don't think really presidential pardon should be a thing at all. But I
agree.
I don't think that.
All right, pause.
That means something.
You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
Thanks.
How's it going?
Hey, how's it going? Mehdi.
What is it?
Mehdi.
You're from northern UK, I guess?
I'm from London, North London.
Okay, fair enough. What's your ethnic background, if you don't mind my asking?
My parents are from India.
Okay, perfect. Just getting premise here. First of all, I want to say
The premise of Donald Trump being pro-crime.
No. I want to concern myself with why you care about what's happening in the U.S. first and foremost. Secondly, I want to say this: with the
Should
argument,
US should people who live in the US not care about?
Let's not interrupt each other because I have this thing. Like people know, I have this thing. I have to stay calm. Okay. Here's the thing: I am happy that he released J6. In fact, so much so that I was prepared to protest if he didn't.
Okay.
So when you say, are you okay that he's pro-crime? Sure, because you know what? We're changing the definition of what crime is, first and
You
foremost.
don't think stomping on police officers' heads is a crime?
I don't think it's no longer a relevant conversation anymore. You're
Really?
arguing. No, it's not, because you know what? Okay, have you seen the U.S. in the last 4 or 5 years?
Yes, I've
BLM
lived
protests.
there for a
Have you
while.
seen? Okay, I myself have been involved in these protests. I've seen egregious things that you couldn't even imagine.
So we
being
have no
done
rules
to
then?
conservatives. It's not about that. It's
it
about
about?
tribal warfare. That's where we're at in the U.S. I don't know where you're at in the UK. You're from India, so I don't really.
I'm not from India.
Oh, sorry, your parents are from India, so
I'm an American
you have
citizen.
your own stakes.
I'm an American, you know.
You're an American citizen? Okay,
Yes.
fair enough. I don't know how
Yes.
you got that, but fair enough. Here's the thing.
Are you an American citizen?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But here's the thing.
Not sure how you got that. Okay.
Born here.
Okay.
Born here, and my family lineage is settlers from the 1500s, so I have some stake in the
Okay.
claim here. Okay.
But you're
a little different.
But you're
than
a
yours.
descendant of immigrants, settlers,
I didn't know.
colonialists.
Yeah,
You don't
colonials.
look, you don't
yeah.
look very Native American to me.
I am Native American. Whites
not.
are Native Americans. What are you
Sorry,
talking about?
you're not.
What are you talking about?
You're
Whites
not.
are Native Americans.
Really?
I think
What was
you're-
happening before the 1500s?
I think you're getting confused with.
I don't mind going off on a tangent, but what was happening before the 1500s?
Calm down. I think you're getting.
What was happening before the 1500s?
There was indigenous people here that
yeah.
came here from
Do you know
Asia.
what indigenous means?
Listen, before
Indigenous
America,
people
L-
can't
you
come
know, let
from
me
somewhere
finish.
else.
Why do you ask a question if you're going to interrupt?
I'm not sure if you know what the meaning of indigenous means.
I do know what it means. It
Doesn't
means
sound
they
like it.
came here first, right? They came here from Asia by way of land bridge. Have an argument with Neil deGrasse Tyson or anybody else about that. I don't care.
Is he an American?
I genuinely don't care. Yes, he is.
Okay, just
so
checking.
My point is, okay?
Nothing to do with crime. So far, you've agreed with me that these people
Because
are
you're
criminals.
derailing, dude. I'm trying
You
to stay on
literally
track.
sat down and asked me where
no,
I'm from. I think you
I
derailed this
think you got
conversation from the
offended
get-go.
by that, but I'm because
I'm
I'm
not
always
offended. I'm
curious,
just wondering what it
because
has to do with
I'm
crime.
always curious.
We're going to talk about
why-
immigration. Don't worry. Later on, you can come back.
I hope so.
Right now, you're doing a very bad job of making the case that he's not pro-crime
I just
and
got a
pro-criminal.
round of applause. I could probably get another one actually if I asked for it.
Wow.
So I don't think I'm
Is this
doing
how
as
you
bad.
get rounds of applause? You sit in a room with 20 people who agree with you. Wow, amazing.
I'm-
Amazing. That
Well,
must
wait
make you
till
feel
this
good.
comes out. You know what? I'm
20
actually
people
glad
agree
you're
with
getting
you,
this
applauded you.
emotionally outraged right
Wow.
now. This is great.
I love it.
Do I have to say anything at this point, or are you just going
Please.
to keep going?
No, please.
Okay.
Make your claim.
Well, my claim is that I don't care if it's pro-crime. You
Okay,
want to go
so
back to the
so I-
topic
so-
of
so
conversation?
that's fine, we agree then. He's pro-crime
But
and you
I have
don't
a
care.
question for you though. Do you care on the opposite side of the spectrum?
Yes.
Do you care about law being administered
Yes.
to the opposite side of the
Yes.
spectrum?
I think
when they're
anyone
doing
who
the same?
assaults a police officer shouldn't be pardoned. I think that Donald Trump shouldn't have pardoned 9 Republican members of Congress who were convicted of crimes, and I don't think Joe
I don't
Biden should
think
commit.
you- I don't
I don't
think
think
you
Democrats should
understand-
pardon Democrats.
Fair, but I don't
We
think
both
you
agree?
understand where we are in the U.S. Then.
I think I do.
No, because you're
I think I do
arguing
this for
from
a
a
living.
position of like a U.S. that doesn't exist anymore. We're headed towards
So
tribal-
nihilism, no laws, nothing matters.
It's not about
everyone's pro-crime.
It's not about that. It's that
That's
conservatives
convenient.
conservatives for too long have been playing it safe. They've been playing by the
Really?
law. They've been
They've
playing
been
it by the
playing
book.
by the law?
Yes, they have.
Maybe
We're
you missed the Bush presidency.
conservatives
Did you
are
live
so
here during the Bush
concerned-
years?
Conservatives are
Didn't
so
play by the
concerned.
law, George W.
Let me
Bush, nor did
finish.
Ronald Reagan.
Let's be respectful to you. Let me finish.
I'm not sure you've been that respectful,
It-
but okay.
I'm trying to bring it back, so let's both bring it back.
That's
Okay.
good.
I'm conservative. Okay.
Really?
Let me tell you this. We do play it too safe. We've been playing it by the book for too long. At this point, gloves are off, right? The left has made their point. They're willing
Are
to
the
do.
police force in Washington the left?
Yes.
why were
Are
they
you
assaulting?
kidding me? The left? Are you?
wow.
Are you insane?
Police officers.
Look. Okay. Look at LA right here. You think those stand down? Those stand down.
You think the LAPD are a bunch of liberal Marxists?
No, but I
Really?
think they listen to liberal Marxists who tell them what to do.
okay.
I think they listen to who signs their paychecks at the
Can
end
I
of the
just
day.
check,
who are
because
liberal
you're doing
Marxists.
lots of little diversions. We both agree Donald Trump's pro-crime, you're just fine with it.
No,
Is that
I,
the position?
I don't
That's what you've
agree
said
with
so
your-
far
I
for
don't
about
agree with your
5 minutes.
I don't agree with your definition
What's
of
your
crime.
definition of crime?
It doesn't
Stomping
ma-
on a police officer's head
No,
is not
what-
a crime.
That's
That's your
what I'm
definition
saying.
of crime as the
He keeps getting
Native
me out of it.
American.
I am Native American.
If you say so.
So going back to the topic at hand, we have different definitions of crime because you're
That's
talking
convenient. There's
It's
a
not
criminal
about-
code
it's
in
not
this
about
country.
what's
It's called the
convenient.
U.S. Criminal Code.
about. You know what? Let's focus
That's
on
what
what we
everyone
agree on.
focuses
I'm
on.
sure you and I actually agree on a lot
Do we
more than
agree
you
that
realize.
people shouldn't stomp on police officers' heads? Can we agree on that? If
I'm
you don't
not-
agree on that, then I really think this conversation is kind of
No,
pointless.
because first of all, you're saying what? That the police have the authority, that they're given the authority. I don't accept the authority that's been
it's a
given by
very
liberal
conservative
Marx.
position.
I'm
Or the conservative are pro-police.
Then you
Or
don't
we
know what a
redefine-
real. Hey, listen,
So
you're
we
in a room
redefine
with
crime.
juggernauts right now.
We
Okay?
redefine
I'm telling you right now,
conservatives.
you are going to be blown
I
open
mean,
if you think
yeah,
that my
if we're gonna
position
struggle
is
with the
hard, right?
English
You
language
have
for the
no
next couple
idea
hours, then yeah,
what
we'll
you're up
struggle.
against right now. Okay.
100%.
Yeah. Newsflash: the conservatives are liberal to me. Okay. Neocons, the libertarians, all those mainstream people, they might as well be leftists to me. Okay. That's how far to the right I am. Do you understand my position? So when
I
you say,
kinda guessed it when you sat down.
say, about obeying police. Why would I give the authority to police? Do
you
you know
think-
here? Do you know here in
do you
America?
Think do you think Donald Trump
here
should
in
be
America?
pardoning 9 members of Congress
Do you
who
know
committed
who-
financial crimes?
Let
Are
me
you
see if
pro?
I can remember
Are
his
you
name
pro
right, because
financial
it's so-
crime?
Do you know
Are you
who
pro
Thomas-
financial crime?
Do you know
All
who
right,
Thomas
pause.
Timbo is?
Pause.
I think the people who clapped you have voted you out.
All right. Head back to your seat. You've been voted out by the
conservatives
majority.
Nice to meet you. Hello,
there.
sir. How are you?
Hey, so I'm going to be as respectful about this as possible, but the truth is your claim is completely bad faith. You do not care about being anti-crime. You yourself are pro-crime. Your side is pro-crime because you're a progressive.
How am I pro-crime?
So I'll give you an example, right? So your side, not Donald Trump, has passed a series of laws in California. Let's go with California. It's where we are right now. It's where I'm from. I don't know. Are you from California?
No.
Or okay. So in California, for example, the state legislature, completely progressive, just passed a law that limits sex offender registration to 10 years. It was life before. That's pro-crime. The legislature in California, which is progressives again, has passed a law that says the voter-induced three-strike law is no longer absolute. If someone murders someone, stabs someone on 3 separate occasions, a judge now does not have to give them life. That's a progressive law. That is pro-crime. You support that, don't you?
I actually don't support sex offenders coming off a list. I think they should be on for life.
Okay, so you disagree with progressives.
So hold on. You and I both agree that sex offending is a bad thing, especially child sex offending, right?
It seems like you and I agree on that.
I
The
agree on that.
legislature of California doesn't.
So I'm not here to debate the legislature of California. I'm here to debate
You're
Donald
progressive.
Trump being pro-crime.
But
And
you're
I'm
progressive.
saying that Donald Trump was friends with Ghislaine Maxwell. When Ghislaine Maxwell, who's the worst child sex trafficker of our lifetime, she's serving over 20 years. Do you know Ghislaine Maxwell?
Yeah, she's actually not. Jeffrey Epstein's the worst sex trafficker.
He's dead. I'm
Well,
talking about people who are alive right now.
It's interesting though you didn't use his name,
Well,
right? Wouldn't he
no,
be
I'm-
the one who did this?
Oh, great. I'm glad you brought up
Okay.
Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein, before he died, did an interview with Michael Wolff. He's on tape. I don't know if you've heard the tape. He says, my closest friend was Donald Trump. I was his closest friend. Elon Musk, I'm not sure if you've heard of him. He tweeted recently that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files. And Ghislaine Maxwell, who was the right-hand woman of Jeffrey Epstein, when she was on trial for child sex offending, which you and I are opposed to, Donald Trump stood up and said, good luck to her, I wish her well. So yeah, that makes him pro-crime and pro-criminal if he's being soft on child sex
Well, you
traffickers
just said they
like
were his
Epstein.
friends. He's
No,
clearly
I'm saying he was
something-
friends. He was friends with Epstein. You haven't seen the videos? They danced
Yeah,
together, partied together.
It's
Epstein
a guy,
said I was
it's
his
a guy he
closest
knows.
friend.
He's not supported the pedophilia part. The only people
Actually,
supporting
that's
pedophilia
not
are the
true.
left.
Trump gave a speech about 20 years ago where he said Epstein's a great guy. He loves young women. A lot of them are very young. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, laugh, laugh. So yeah, I think he's pro-crime and pro-criminal.
So you
and I
think
think
he's
he's
pro-crime
soft
for
on
having a
sex
friend who's
offenders.
do you have any friends who are criminals?
Not that I know of. Certainly not child sex offenders. No, do you?
If it came, no, of course not. And
Okay,
if it
so
came-
we're both in agreement again.
If
So
it
why are you
came out
defending
tomorrow
Donald
that
Trump?
one, if it came out tomorrow that one of your friends was a child sex
You know
trafficker,
what I'd do?
you'd stop being friends with them.
Yes.
But-
And I
but-
wouldn't say- and
And,
I
then
wouldn't-
I'd go on TV and I would say, "Oh, look, Mr. Hassan was friends with this guy 10 years ago. Therefore, he's
What if
pro-child
Mr.
sex
Hassan
trafficking."
said, I wish them well when they're on trial? Wouldn't you ever go at me for
You
that?
wished your
Wouldn't
friend
you
well
not?
on trial?
Yeah, child sex trafficker. Would you be mad?
I wouldn't wish someone well, but that's
Donald
your
Trump
gotcha.
did.
That's your gotcha.
It's a pretty
Is that
big
he said
gotcha.
He wished
Yeah,
a friend
pretty
well.
big gotcha.
Okay,
He
but
praised
see,
the- he
what
praised
you're
the
really
woman
trying
for
to
child
do right
sex.
now is you're
What
trying to
about
get
the
back
fact
to
that he's-
Donald Trump
what
on
about
a
the fact
personal
that
level.
Elon
Let's
Musk
talk
says his
policy.
name is
What's his policy?
Oh, you want to talk policies?
Yes.
So when he left office in 2020, he left behind the highest murder rate for over 100 years.
He left
Between
behind the
20
highest murder.
Yes.
That is the most bad faith claim you
No,
could
no,
possibly make.
it's a fact from the
No,
CDC
and you know
data.
what? Here's why it's bad faith.
Can I finish a sentence and then you can come back in?
You're just lying to people. Donald
I'm
Trump.
lying? Can I finish the sentence?
Donald Trump does not cause the
Can I-
murder rate.
can I-
Murder is a state
Oh,
level
that's
crime.
hilarious.
Gavin
Conservatives
Newsom is
spent-
more responsible for the murder rate than Donald Trump is.
That's hilarious. So Donald Trump's not responsible for murder rate, but other politicians who are Democrats
Yes,
are.
because it's
Everyone
a state
can see
level
your
law.
partisanship.
That's like saying no. That's like, no. I'll say Republicans are too.
Let's-
State governors who are soft on crime are the ones that are
Let
responsible
me finish
for
the
murder
sentence.
rates.
When Donald Trump left office in 2020, between 2019 and 2020, according to data from the CDC, from the FBI, from Pew Research, it was a 30% increase in the murder rate between 2019 and 2020. It was the single biggest jump in the murder rate since 1905.
And who's doing
so
the,
he's
who's
pro-crime
doing the murdering?
and
Aren't they
pro-criminal.
responsible? Who's doing the murdering?
The murderers.
So aren't they responsible
But why
for the
did it
murder
go up
rate?
on his watch?
What?
Why did it go up on his watch?
Gee,
He's
that's
very
a real
bad
hard.
at-
That's
he's
a real
very bad
hard
at
one.
fighting crime
That's a
for
real hard one to
Republicans.
figure out, right? We shut down the whole economy during COVID. We told everyone they couldn't go out unless it was to violently protest. We told people that if a cop tries to arrest you, that cop's probably going to get charged with murder.
No, I think the pandemic had a lot to do with it. But
Right,
the
so
pandemic
did he
didn't
cause
finish
that?
in 2020.
What?
The pandemic didn't finish in
No, but
2020.
you asked why the murder rate
and
went
yet
up.
if we're
The
going to
murder
play
rate
the
went
what
up
about game,
because of
you
all
guys
these
blame Joe
factors.
Biden for crime for years.
What Joe
For
Biden
years.
actively induces policies that are pro-crime. I'm asking
So
you
does
for
Donald
some-
Trump. Okay.
Name the policy
I'll
that's
name one right
pro-crime.
now. I'll
Please.
name one
I've
right
asked
now.
you for like 10 minutes.
I'll name
Please
one right
do
now.
that.
No, you haven't actually. You talked
What,
about
some-
California legislatures. He pardoned violent criminals
That's
who
not-
then went
that's
on
not a
to
policy.
commit
He
other
did-
crimes. You don't think releasing violent crimes into
A
the
pardon's
community?
a one-time thing. What's his policy
know-
he has pushed? Name a law he
Hold
has
on, no.
signed.
A pardon
What
is a
law has he
one-time
signed?
thing. Is a policy is not one-time
That's
thing.
like Jimmy Carter pardoned the
You
draft.
guys
Listen,
may want to dodge January 6th, the pardons.
I'm not dodging that.
Then
Jimmy
deal with
Carter.
it. Did you agree with
I'm
them?
gonna right now.
Do you agree with
Jimmy
them?
Carter
Do you
pardoned
agree with
draft
the pardons?
dodgers. Does that mean his
I don't,
policy was
I don't
no one
support
has to?
Jimmy Carter. Do you
Okay.
support do you support the pardoning of people who went on to be prosecuted for sexually abusing a 7-year-old child, illegal gun possession, reckless homicide?
Now, see,
These are people
there's
who
more bad
released-
faith. See,
these are
there's more
people who
bad
released
faith.
from
He
prison.
didn't pardon someone for sexually abusing a
No, but
child.
they went
he
on to be
pardoned
convicted
someone
of it.
for
So
rebelling
that's-
against the government that they believed
No,
had
they-
rigged elections. That's what he pardoned them for. He didn't pardon them for
No.
sexual child abuse.
But they were criminals who committed those crimes. He let them out, so that means
Now,
the crime rate goes up.
So you say they're criminals because they did the crime, right?
Yeah.
Would you extend that to illegal immigrants, that they're all criminals because they committed a crime? I have a
No,
feeling your
the
position
Supreme
is going
Court.
to change.
Supreme Court. We're going to talk about immigration.
That
Supreme-
someone who's illegally entered the United States, not a criminal, but
not
somebody who
according to the
illegally
Supreme
entered the
Court.
Capitol
Not
is.
according to the Supreme Court of the United States.
The Supreme Court has said that anyone who enters the United States
The
illegally
Supreme
is not a
Court,
criminal.
and we can
What's the
jump
case
to
site? Can I get the
future
case
claims.
site? Can I get the
We
case
can
site?
jump to 20. You want to get the case?
The case site, please. You
want-
said the Supreme Court
The
said,
citation of the case.
yes, that entering
It's
the United
called-
States illegally is not a crime.
It's called Arizona versus United States 2012. Go look it up.
Pause. Pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you doing, sir?
Nice to meet you,
Nice
Mehdi.
to meet you. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you. I really just more want to get an understanding. When you say pro-criminal, what do you mean?
I mean that when confronted with people who've committed criminal acts, Donald Trump has been either soft on them, friendly with them, pardoned them, and of course, let's not forget, I mean, we've got 5 minutes left. I'm surprised it hasn't come up earlier. He's a convicted criminal himself sitting in the White House.
Okay, I want to
34
make sure I
felony
understand
offenses.
you correctly because
Yes.
I don't want to straw man you.
No,
You're saying
I appreciate that.
every time that he's been confronted,
Not every time. I didn't
most
say
times,
the words every time.
most times,
A lot of the time.
a lot of the times,
Yes.
he's leaned towards criminal activity.
I didn't say criminal activity. He has committed
Endorsed
crimes.
criminal.
He's been indicted for
Correct.
88 different criminal offenses in 4 different jurisdictions by 5 different grand juries. He was convicted himself on 34 different criminal offenses by a jury of his peers. But let's park that for a moment.
Okay.
Separate to his own crimes, when
Right.
confronted with the crimes of others or the alleged crimes of others, for example, a Chinese crypto billionaire called
right.
Justin Sun, who was being investigated for market manipulation, Trump dropped the case, invited him to the golf course,
Right, I get
invited
it.
him
So
to the White House,
plenty of examples,
and the guy
plenty of
invested
examples.
$70 million in Trump's
Okay,
cryptocurrency.
so what I want to ask you
That's
this.
pro-crime in my
so
view.
is it possible, because remember, the burden of proof's on you, right? You have to prove. Is it possible that all these things that he's done that supposedly make him pro-crime,
Yeah.
is there's another reason for the doing it? There's other justification. For
Oh,
example,
no,
let me give you an example,
yeah,
and then you can
please.
rebut it. The J6.
Yes.
Is it possible that he could have done this
Yes.
to unite the country, to move past, to go to a new chapter? If it's even possible, I think you would have to admit that there's another possibility. Therefore, he's not pro-crime, at least in possibility.
So let me agree and disagree.
Yep. Okay.
So I agree with you that the intent could be different. I don't think Donald Trump was sitting there saying, how can I increase the level of murders? Let me release some murderers.
Right.
I'm not saying he did that on January 6th. I don't think he was trying to unite the country. That's where we disagree. That's bullshit. In fact, he divided the country further. But intent doesn't really matter to my claim. If he's releasing violent criminals,
Wait.
it doesn't
Intent
matter.
doesn't matter?
No, he's pro-crime and pro-criminal.
No, but that's a big indictment to say pro-crime. That means
If I'm
he's
confronted,
for crime.
I'm confronted. Well, he is because, for example, I gave an
No.
example.
It could
Can I
be
finish?
possible.
I didn't
Okay, sorry,
interrupt you.
forgive me. Yep.
Your friend earlier, your ally, said, where has he done stuff that's increased the crime rate? I'm telling you, people have been pardoned who have been convicted on multiple other crimes. These people who we pardoned had previous criminal records. They were not just some folks chilling around and go, we're against the takeover of our country, we're opposed to rebellion. A lot of these people were already hardened
Yeah.
criminals, militia members. He looked at those people and said, you know what? They've been convicted, in many cases, by Republican judges, but I'm going to let them
Okay,
out. Yeah, that makes
can I
you
ask you a question?
pro-criminal.
Is it possible-
Very
again,
much so.
all I'm trying to-
And if Joe Biden had done it, you'd be attacking him.
Sure. Is it possible that their conviction was part of a plea? It's like, oh shit, I can't get out of this, so I got to take a plea deal.
Some of them, maybe.
A lot of them, maybe?
Others we saw with our own lying eyes on tape,
Okay,
battering
so-
police
so I
officers.
wanna
Were you-
eventually-
did you watch live on January 6th? What happened?
To be completely honest, I'm pretty novice on this.
Okay.
I'm more trying to target. You're saying he's pro-crime, and in my head,
I'm
just
saying-
thinking this
I've-
logically.
I've
Let me finish.
just-
If I can finish for
please.
1 second. If thinking this, there's a possibility that he might have had other reasons. For example, unifying the country.
Yep.
Next chapter, right? That could be the reason. Therefore, it's not pro-crime. There was other reasons. I'm just saying that's a possibility. And if that's
and
a
I'm saying it's a possibility, but I'm saying it's irrelevant because if you're knowingly releasing violent criminals out into the community, pardoning, not just releasing, then yes, you are being pro-criminal. And I've interviewed police officers.
I don't
who
know
are-
about that
I've
case, but
interviewed police officers who have been assaulted, beaten, had to retire from the police office, broken bones.
Can
Let
I
me
move
finish,
really
let me
quick
say this
to-
out.
yeah, go
I'll
ahead.
finish very quickly. I've interviewed these police officers. They've been beaten by people who they've then seen walk off the streets and then carry on threatening them. Yes, when Donald Trump is responsible for that, you're definitely pro-crime.
Okay, I doubt a
All
lot
right,
of the sources,
pause.
but
You doubt
Pause.
police officers who testified to being assaulted?
You've
Wow.
been voted out by the majority. Please return
Nice
to your
meeting you.
seat.
Thanks. Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are
Nice to meet you, Mehdi.
So you claim that your main claim is that Trump pardoned some people from January 6th. By the way, I was there. I saw it all firsthand. About a football field away. There's smoke in my eyes. Bloodied. It was a crazy day.
Were you convicted of any crimes?
No, of course not, because I didn't enter the building. Stay very peaceful. But your entire claim is that he
That's
pardoned.
not my entire claim.
That's basically you keep
No,
bringing
I
it up.
mentioned-
All
I
you
can-
do is bring it up.
Okay, I'll mention
Well,
some other
let me
people.
say this.
Are you
let me say
okay with
this.
his pardoning of Paul Wolchak, who
Let
stole
me
money
bring
from
this
his
up.
employees?
You keep talking
or
about
9 former
pardoning.
members of Congress. That's
You
my
keep talking
claim.
about pardoning.
He keeps pardoning criminals. That makes him.
You know who else
pro-criminal.
pardoned a big criminal?
Go on.
Hunter Biden was pardoned by his
Yeah,
father.
I don't think
He
he should've
did
done
crack
that.
cocaine,
He should've done
and
that.
he had hookers there too.
I'm with you all. I'm with you all.
But then why don't you claim that
check my
Biden? Why
Twitter.
don't you claim that
I
Biden
think Joe
is
Biden in that
pro-crime?
instance was pro-crime. He shouldn't have done it.
Well,
he
so
shouldn't
he
have
was
done it.
overall pro-crime
He shouldn't have
just
done it.
because he did that
No,
one.
but Joe Biden didn't just. So if it was just a pardon,
Okay.
then you'd be fine. But I already mentioned there's also the fact that Joe Biden wasn't actually a convicted criminal in office. Trump has committed crimes. Trump hangs around with criminals. He spent much of the 80s hanging around with the New York mob. He hung around with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell.
Well, that whole that's
I can keep going.
Jeffrey Epstein lived in West Palm Beach, the area, and that's the closest golf course you can go to.
Do you think-
And he's very,
do you
very
think
rich,
Donald
so
Trump
he
is
paid,
in the Epstein
so
files?
he paid.
Do you think Donald Trump is in the
as
Epstein
soon
files?
as Trump found out,
Do you think Donald Trump is in the Epstein files?
No, I do not. And here,
What, is Elon Musk lying?
Let me explain. Let me explain this.
Okay.
He lived in the area in Mar-a-Lago, near Mar-a-Lago, so he bought obviously a ticket to go in there.
Yep.
As soon as Trump found out that Epstein had done all those bad things, immediate ban
That's
from
not true,
Mar-a-Lago.
but okay.
Immediate ban
That's
from
not true.
Mar-a-Lago. Yes, it is.
That's not
yes,
true.
it is. 100%.
In fact, Ghislaine Maxwell recruited some of the girls that were abused from Mar-a-Lago.
So listen to this.
From Mar-a-Lago. That's pretty outrageous, right?
Elon Musk tweeted that out in a fit of rage. Okay. Do you really?
Sometimes
do
people
you
tell
really
the truth
think,
when they're angry.
Do you really
the
think,
truth comes out when people are angry sometimes.
So Kash
we
Patel,
might see that today.
Kash Patel literally said that Elon Musk had no access to the Epstein files. So
Kash Patel said that Epstein killed himself. Do you agree with that?
whatever he says goes. Then yeah, I don't care.
You do?
He knows more information than
A
I
lot
do.
of MAGA people are upset
He knows
with
more
Kash Patel
information
for
than I
saying
do.
that.
But here's the actual claim.
Suddenly
is-
people are trying to vote you out because you said you agree with Kash Patel on Epstein.
he knows more
All
information
right,
than I do.
Pause. That's time. Please return to your seat.
Good to meet you.
Yeah. Take care.
Surrounded is now a podcast, available wherever you listen. Search Surrounded, plug in, and stay part of the conversation. Anywhere, anytime.
My next claim is that Donald Trump is defying the Constitution. Nice
It's
to
a
meet
pleasure
you.
to meet you, sir.
Mehdi, lovely to meet you.
So I would say that with Trump being anti-constitution, I don't really care, to be quite frankly,
Okay.
because in regards to the Constitution is a document that should seek to serve us.
Yes.
And when it fails to seek to serve us, that can be amended. Laws can be changed. And quite frankly, the fact is, we're defending things in this country that shouldn't be defended. The First Amendment should not defend pornography and making children and women be victimized. Making women and children be victimized as a result of that. I think things like blasphemy shouldn't be allowed per the First Amendment. I think that, quite frankly, there are a lot of legal processes that are enabling criminals and bad people to fully enact their will in this country in the name of the Constitution or following the Constitution. So, quite frankly, if Trump is anti-Constitution, good, and I think he should go further.
So this is wonderfully revealing of the modern conservative mindset. So I appreciate you spelling it out so openly. Just checking, do you support the Second Amendment?
I do.
Okay, surprise, I was shocked to hear that. I'm saying that Donald Trump is defying the First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, the 14th Amendment. He's thinking of defying the 12th and 22nd Amendments. You're saying you don't care about the Constitution, but actually you do because you quite like the Second Amendment. You just don't like the bits that you disagree with. Can I just be clear on that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm more than
How do you
willing to.
run-
I'm more than willing to amend it and include
Whenever
the
it's in
Second
your
Amendment.
favor?
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
so can Democrats do the same when they're in office?
No, absolutely not. Because
you
it's
don't
the
believe in
friend enemy.
democracy?
No, I don't. Absolutely not.
What do you believe in?
Autocracy.
By who?
Honestly, quite frankly, anyone who is in line with Catholic teaching.
Donald Trump is not Catholic.
Of course, he's not. I
So-
completely agree,
so
and that's
you
part of
support
the
Trump?
problem.
You don't support Trump?
No, I don't. I didn't even vote for him. I wrote in like John Pork or someone.
Why
I can't
did
even
you-
remember.
Why did you vote if you don't believe in democracy and you want autocracy?
Well, because quite frankly, I voted.
This is
I kind
fascinating.
of voted just to.
I came with this
troll a
argument,
little
but I'm
bit,
bored of my own argument. I'm much more interested in this. So
Yeah, absolutely.
How do we get to an autocracy?
I think, quite frankly, that if we are able to enact local
Who
leaders,
is the we,
or-
by the way?
I think, quite frankly, these far right conservatives sitting right around
White
me.
people?
Yeah,
No brown
absolutely.
people? So,
Well,
some
actually,
of you guys,
I have quite.
some of the people
I
in this
have
room
quite-
don't make the cut from what I can see
actually,
visually.
Actually,
Okay.
hold on for a moment. I do think that there are people who happen to not be white who do actually have history in this country and have roots in this country. For instance, from the Mexican-American War, we subsumed a lot of territory of people who have far stakes in this country who happen to be Hispanic or what have you.
Okay.
I'm for defending the traditional demographics of this country, which is majority white
So
and should stay that
How
way.
does the United States? I mean, we've gone so off topic, but how does the United States look like under you? Sorry, what's your name?
My name is my name's Connor. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Took a little bit of a doubt there.
Oh,
to say
well,
your name.
I use
Connor-
a pseudonym online,
Fair enough.
but
Connor,
fair enough.
How would Connor's America look? What would it look like?
Well, quite frankly, I think we would deport people who shouldn't be here.
No, I didn't ask about
whether-
deporting. What does the government look like?
What does the government look like?
Yeah.
I would say, quite frankly, it's under a sort of benevolent leader, such as
Where does he come
Franco.
from?
It could be a kind of aristocratic class. Could be someone
No, but
who
who picks the autocrat?
frankly, the people. I mean, we could hold a vote on it. Kings
So
were
isn't
paid.
that democracy?
Well, sure. You can have a vote to get to that stage.
And then no more votes afterwards.
Absolutely.
Wow.
100%.
Wow. And if that autocrat kills you and your family, you're fine with that?
Well, I'm not going to be a part of the group that he kills because
How do you
that's the
know?
whole thing.
How do
Well,
you know?
Carl Schmitt
Autocrats tend to kill everyone,
Carl
even their own
Schmitt makes
supporters.
this point very well in his work. It's the friend-enemy distinction, right? You
Carl
liberals,
Schmitt, the
you-
Nazi theoretician.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't care.
Are you
Who
a fan of
ca-
the Nazis?
I frankly don't care being called a Nazi at
I didn't
all.
say that. I
Doesn't
didn't
matter
actually
to
say
me.
that. I said, are you a fan of the Nazis?
Well, they persecuted the church a little bit. I'm not a fan of that. But
What about the
you know,
persecution of the Jews?
Well, I mean, I certainly don't support anyone's human dignity being assaulted. I'm a Catholic.
But
And
you
so
don't condemn Nazi persecution of the Jews?
I think that there was a little bit of persecution
We
and
may
stuff like
have
that,
to
which is
rename
bad.
this show
but-
because you're a little bit more than a far-right Republican.
Hey, what can I say?
I think you could say, I'm a fascist.
Yeah, I am. Absolutely.
I'm just checking who's clapping just to get my set of where everyone
Because
is on this.
in
Because you know
during-
that millions of people are going to be watching you on YouTube and checking out
Yeah,
who the fascists and the
absolutely.
Nazis are.
I'm not ashamed of that whatsoever.
clearly you're not.
During the
Clearly you're not.
During the pre-war period, prior to World War II, it was only those parties that properly enacted the people's will. That's why they won. The conservatives were fat
Are
cats.
you
They were
in favor
aristocrats.
of,
They didn't care.
favor of killing people who aren't like you?
Quite frankly, I'm not. If
You mentioned
they-
Franco earlier. Franco killed a lot of innocent people.
Oh, well, he killed communists. He killed people who raped nuns and killed priests.
What about children who he killed and women who he killed?
What are you talking about? He never killed any women or children. He was Catholic.
He only
dude.
killed combatants. Is that what you're
Yeah,
claiming?
he
now?
only killed combatants.
Never killed any innocent people.
The White Terror was only punishing those people who did acts of terrorism. And again, are you supporting like raping innocent women? Nuns, dude. Killing priests? I mean, priests don't brandish guns and kill
You
people.
just refuse to condemn the Nazi Holocaust, my friend. I don't think you're in a position to ask anyone any questions.
I quite frankly don't care what you think about me. If I'm a Nazi
And
and
the
being a
feeling
Nazi
is mutual,
if
so-
being a Nazi means upholding human
kinda
dignity,
done.
because I even believe in your dignity. I don't in
I
a state
don't-
that I was
with the
running.
greatest of
I
respect,
wouldn't want to hurt
I don't
you or
debate.
anything like that. But
What are we
quite
doing
frankly,
here? I don't debate fascists.
okay. So do you concede then? I mean, why?
Do I concede you're a fascist who won't condemn the Nazis?
Yeah.
Yes, I concede that.
Okay, great. So I mean, what are we doing here? Because I mean, you
don't
just seem
know what
offended.
you're doing here,
You
to be
just seem
honest.
offended, to be quite frankly. Like,
I'm offended by people who can't condemn the Nazis. Yes, I am.
okay. Well, I condemn the evils that they did, but I don't really
Against
care
the
about
Jews?
being. Yeah, sure. I don't care about being called a
Yeah,
Nazi.
sure.
Is the whole thing.
I never called you a
I
Nazi.
care
You
about
called
doing
yourself
the right
a Nazi,
thing.
a fascist, and a General Franco
Well,
supporter.
yeah, I am a General Franco supporter. He was awesome. He was so super cool, quite frankly. Because the whole
And
thing.
you don't believe in democracy.
I don't believe in
What
democracy.
are you doing here at a televised debate?
Because-
This is democracy. I want to debate and disagreement.
Because it is the means to support an end. The reason we have free speech now is because we want to be openly talking about our opinions so we can get the state that we want. But it doesn't mean
This is
upholding
great.
free speech after we win.
I
mentioned
the only good thing about this fascist moment
the
we're in
whole
is that
reason-
you guys are so open about it.
The
It's
whole
great.
reason
Say
I
the
mentioned
quiet part loud.
the
Keep saying
whole
it.
reason I mentioned Carl Schmitt earlier, and you kind of blew past him, is the friend-enemy distinction.
past him because of the Nazi
even
point.
liberals, when they take power, they want to enact policies and they want to enact protections for their people and their ideas, and they're willing to punish their enemy. And so I'm the same way. I'm like, hey, if you're going to punish me, I'm going to get in power, and I'm going to frankly punish you when you try to leverage power against me. Just that simple.
I'm not sure what you want to say.
Hey, it is what it is.
All right. Pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Stuart.
I can't say the same, but thank you. to meet you, Mehdi.
Good to meet you, sir. All right. So I kind of want to start at the basics or the foundation. I want to see.
Can I just check?
Yes.
Are you a fascist?
No.
Okay.
I don't. I describe myself as, I think, just a Christian.
Fair enough.
I'm a devout Christian.
Good to hear.
So, I want to start, like, what is your connection to the Constitution, and why do you love it so much? Like, what makes it so important that Trump would defy something like the Constitution to you personally?
Great questions. My first connection is I'm an American citizen. I naturalized American citizen, took a pledge to this country, to the Constitution. As a previous speaker has said, Constitution's not perfect. A lot of things I don't like about it. I don't like the Second Amendment. There's various amendments. I don't like the way the Senate is set up. I'm sure there's things you don't like about the Constitution. The difference is, I don't think you can just illegally defy the Constitution. I don't think each and every one of us can just make up whatever we want. Certainly presidents who are elected with an oath, right? Donald Trump took an oath to preserve, protect, defend the Constitution. And now when he's asked on television, isn't it your job to uphold the Constitution? He said on NBC, I don't know, which goes against his oath. And I'm identifying specific amendments where he is violating. He's only 6 months into his presidency, defying the First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, the 14th Amendment. He wants to defy the 22nd Amendment and be president for a third term. This is the problem we have right now. Free speech is under assault. The free press is under assault. Due process is under assault. The right to be in your home and not be invaded by federal agents, the Fourth Amendment, is under assault. So that, for me, is a problem.
Okay. Well, I'd like to start to say I really don't find the Constitution that important. I find it to be like a 300-year-old document. And it was created to defy the country that subjugated your ancestors in India. And then your parents probably moved from India to Britain. And then you move here to tell us that we should listen to a piece of paper that you were never even connected to begin with. So I want to say, like, if I don't care about it, why do you care about it so much?
How do you run a country without any kind of laws or due process? And by the way, you do care about it, because without the First Amendment, you wouldn't be sitting here.
Well, I agree with the First Amendment, and I think.
So do you agree with
country,
Donald Trump's crackdown on the First Amendment? He's imprisoning people for their speech. He's threatening free speech media organizations. He's threatening peaceable assembly. These are all rights under the First Amendment. Why aren't you bothered by that as a conservative who claims to love the First Amendment?
So I don't like the First Amendment. I like free speech.
Okay,
so
the First Amendment is what guarantees free speech. I'm from the UK, by the way.
Speech.
I'm from the UK,
and you guys
which
don't
is a
have
democracy.
that.
We don't have the First Amendment. No, that's one of the things I do like about the Constitution. I wish the UK did have a First Amendment.
So people
I'm a
don't get
journalist.
arrested for praying outside abortion clinics and stuff like that, right?
So you're opposed to people being arrested for speech crimes, I assume.
Well, it depends what it is. If it's like the people.
So you're like one of the previous speakers. You don't.
No.
As long as it's someone who agrees with you, you don't mind the
No,
crackdown.
no, I support.
Either we consistently support principles, or we
free
don't.
speech 100%.
Okay.
I don't think anyone.
So do you think Donald Trump is defying the Constitution by cracking down on the First Amendment?
So I think he's cracking down on free speech, like the deportation of Mahmoud Khalil, who was
just released from prison by a judge saying his First Amendment rights were violated.
And I agree with the judge, and I disagree with Trump deporting them. But I think that's more a matter of free speech and not the Constitution.
I think that's pedantry at this moment. I think you've conceded that he is cracking down on free speech, which is the First Amendment. So he is defying the Constitution. So it's a pleasure to be in agreement with you, sir.
All right, pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
Thank you very much.
Good to meet you, sir.
I'm Mehdi.
Mehdi, great to meet you. My name is Kai. Do you, Mehdi, believe that the Constitution is important and good?
Overall, yes.
Do you believe that that Constitution can be eroded through democratic processes?
What do you mean by erode?
The original intention of the Constitution being destroyed through a purely, democratic or legal process.
I'm not sure I agree with that.
Okay.
I think if you're democratically amending the Constitution per the rules of the Constitution, that's fine. If we could find a constitutional way to get rid of the Second Amendment, I'd be pro that.
So let's pose a hypothetical wherein the entire population of the United States has drastically changed.
Yes.
And the population now has completely different intentions about what to do with the country. Let's say it wants to give it all back to Mexico, dismantling the United States of America. If that's the case, then what's the use of the Constitution? It hasn't defended the country. In fact, it's allowed for its destruction.
I don't understand the premise. How did the whole country change?
Demographic replacement, mass migration. I mean, we're seeing a change in demographics, and there's
what is the? I do want to talk about immigration today.
I hope we talk about it.
Everyone's itching in this group to get to immigration.
Yes, sir.
I've saved it. I've saved it for you all. But given we're on the sense of the Constitution, and you asked the question, what is the proportion of immigrants in this country? What proportion of the population is foreign-born?
It's very difficult to measure because the actual projections of the number have been changing more rapidly.
But what is currently The best estimate
foreign
of
born,
official
I think it was about 15%.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just under 15%.
Which is, by the way, more actually than the original estimate was. So
but
we have
15% of the people are going to change the country, change the constitution. How's that going to work? It's actually a nightmare. As someone who wants to amend the constitution and get rid of things like the ridiculous way the Senate is set up, or the Second Amendment on guns, or various other things, it's really hard to change the constitution. They made it almost impossible. You know, last time we had a constitutional amendment,
you know
like
what?
20, 30 years ago.
I understand, which
and
is
it was
why
all, I think, members of Congress pay.
Which is why
it's impossible.
I get it.
So where are you getting this scenario where 350 odd million people all become foreign-born migrants or the children of migrants, immediate migrants, even though America is a nation of migrants?
Yeah.
And then abandons the Constitution and gives the country back to Mexico. Outside of your imagination, where is that happening?
Let's bring it back to the actual discussion. What you did is
please.
You entertained my hypothetical, but then instead of sticking to the point of the Constitution, you said, well, how would you bring about your hypothetical? And then when I
because you missed out the part where the Constitution is quite hard to change.
Hold on. I understand that. I gave you.
I also wanted to get a sense of where you are, and you're a great replacement guy. So that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, and you're a real good journalist because you don't talk to people who identify as like a political ideology. I mean, that's a very liberal idea.
I don't debate fascists. I'll talk to them, but I wouldn't debate them.
Frankly, that's upsetting. I think there's a big problem when we value freedom of speech so much, but any real journalist is not going to talk to somebody because they identify with the politically incorrect ideology.
Just talk to the guy in front of you. What are you talking about?
You literally stopped talking to him, and then everybody had to vote him out.
Debating versus talking is very different.
Okay.
It's pointless, right?
Okay,
he doesn't believe in free speech.
Okay.
He doesn't believe in democracy.
He was freely speaking with you. You're the one who
shut
doesn't.
up. No, he said very clearly.
Okay,
he said, I support free speech
so that
I can get one election. After one election, my guy comes in. And after my guy comes in, nobody gets to speak or vote again.
We all listen to your
Why
conversation.
would I debate that?
We listen to your conversation. Let's
I'm
bring
reminding
it
you
back
what
to
was
this
said
topic.
because you just
Let's bring it back to the
misrepresented it.
Constitution.
Please do.
I
First, fourth, fifth, 14th Amendments. Those are the ones I'm saying Trump is defying. Do you support that or do you deny them?
I believe that the Constitution is valuable because it represents particular interests of the founding stock of Americans who made this country great.
Do you think due process is important? Some would say that's at the very core of American Constitution.
And
Fifth Amendment.
And what I think makes the Constitution function, what allows it to save this country and to actually make it work, are the people who are...
I'm not sure where you're going with this argument.
Hold on. I'll show you.
Is Trump defying the Constitution? That's my claim. You can have these weird hypotheticals
We're taking it into a different meta, which is, what's the function of the Constitution?
I'd rather not have your...
You already did.
Yeah,
literally just 5 minutes ago when you took it to immigration.
Now I don't want to.
Okay. Let's bring it back.
I want to bring it back to the First, the Fourth, the Fifth, and the 14th Amendments, and the 22nd Amendments. Either you say, hold on, you got two very good positions here. One is to say, I don't think he's defying them, and I'll say why you're wrong. Or you say, I don't care that he's defying them, as one of your colleagues said, in which case, I don't know where this conversation goes because you don't believe in democracy.
That's fair. Do you think it's wrong to dismantle the Constitution?
So those are two options ahead of you. Do you agree?
This is important.
Do you agree?
What I'm doing
is Donald Trump... Okay, let me ask a question back since you're asking me questions. You're not answering the basic point.
Well,
do you think Donald Trump is dismantling the Constitution? Can we agree that Donald Trump is dismantling? Because I'll agree with you on that. I think he is dismantling the Constitution.
I think he's
illegally, unconstitutionally,
I think he's interpreting it in ways that are more...
Which judges do not agree with him on.
Okay,
hold on. Which the Supreme Court has not agreed with him on.
And the judges don't agree with the people who wrote the Constitution.
How do you know that?
Okay, let's take your example of the Second Amendment. Let's say that a bunch of judges...
I didn't give the Second Amendment.
No, hold on.
Fourth, you don't want to talk about the ones I've given.
You're interrupting me. You're interrupting me.
You're ignoring me. First, Fourth, Fifth, 14th, 22nd Amendments. Those are my amendments that I came with today. If you don't want to debate them, just say so.
I'm trying to understand your ideology. You believe that dismantling the Constitution is
about
okay
the first,
when it's
fourth,
about parts
fifth,
of the Constitution
14th,
that you disagree with.
22nd Amendments.
You would be fine getting rid of the Second Amendment, even though that would be a dismantling of the Constitution.
No, because it would be done via constitutional means. I'm not the one sitting here like your pal.
Okay, you have agreed. You have agreed the Constitution.
I'm not the one saying you just get rid of them willy-nilly.
I don't agree. We're ramping up.
I don't agree that Joe Biden should come in and say by executive order, if Joe Biden had put out executive order saying Second Amendment no longer applies. I can round up everyone's guns. I don't agree with that.
Your result is exactly the same.
I don't agree with them. No, but I don't agree with the method of doing it. It's unconstitutional.
That's fine.
He would have been defying the Constitution, and I would have said so, but you can't bring yourself to say so. We've been sitting here for several minutes. All of your friends have seen me ask you several times, do you agree that Donald Trump is defying the First, Fourth, Fifth, 14th, and possibly 22nd Amendments? Your colleague at least admitted that he's defying the First Amendment.
I understand that you came in here. What you are attempting to do is simply frame this conversation like you did with the first claim about Donald Trump. But then when anybody asks you any kind of question that presses you to the least degree
I answered. I said I would dismantle the Constitution, but I would do it constitutionally, not by executive order.
So what I'm trying to get to is to prove to everybody who's watching that what you care about is not the Constitution in what it represents or creates. You care about the Constitution only insofar as it allows you to achieve your political worldview. We agree on that.
No, I care about the Constitution
you agree with the
because I
Constitution.
don't think presidents should be fascist dictators and violate the Constitution. That's what I'm saying.
You care.
And he is different. I don't think the president should have the power to lock you and me up if we write an op-ed that he doesn't like.
That's
I
awesome.
don't
I agree.
think the
I agree.
president should be able to
I agree.
crack down on us if you and I decide to go protest
I agree with you.
outside his parade.
I agree with you.
don't think the president should be able to deprive you and I of due process or come into
I agree
our
with you.
homes without a warrant.
And I think,
well, let's end on an agreement then.
All right, pause. You've been voted out.
I'm glad
It's
we
good
end
to
on
meet you.
agreement.
It's good to
Good
meet
to meet
you.
you, Kai. Hey, how are you? I'm Eddie.
Hi, I'm Jessica.
Nice to meet you.
How are you? So Trump is defying the 1st, 4th.
5th and
Fifth.
14th, and maybe the 22nd soon.
Okay. So I want to focus on the 1st
Okay.
and the 5th.
Okay.
So you say that Trump is defying the First Amendment. Can you give me an example?
For example, he banned the Associated Press from attending White House events. A Trump-appointed judge said that was against the First Amendment. He's been cracking down on media organizations he doesn't like over their speech. If they say stuff he doesn't like, for example,
Cracking down how?
So, for example, he banned the Associated Press from attending White House events because they
can't go
said
to the White House
it's the
either.
Gulf of Mexico. That's not how it works. They were already at the White House. He deprived them of access, so he punished them for their speech.
But
which is
are
why
they
a
allowed
judge,
to go to the press
Which is why a
room?
judge he appointed, Trevor McFadden, said this was contrary to the First Amendment. A Trump-appointed judge. He's called MSNBC and CNN illegal. Media organizations are not ipso facto
But that's free speech.
illegal.
He can call them whatever they want.
Attacking the media
Yeah, he
by
can
the
attack
president
them.
as the executive?
Yeah, he can
And-
say whatever he wants. That's literally the First Amendment.
He can say whatever he wants.
Absolutely.
But the media can't say what they want.
They do.
But he's going after them. He's suing them. He's using lawsuits to crack down on the press.
They
Presidents
used
have not done that
lawsuits
before.
to give him 34 felonies that Hillary Clinton did.
No media gave him a lawsuit.
No, but people
Oh, we're
on
talking
the
about media.
Democratic side.
We're not talking about the Democrats.
Okay. So he can call them whatever he wants because that's the freedom of speech.
He's
he can even
threatened to
discourage-
imprison reporters.
He absolutely.
He wants to imprison. He said reporters should go to prison for reporting. He threatened some of them with prison rape. Right? That is against the First Amendment.
Okay. How is that against the First Amendment?
You don't think sending reporters to prison for
Is he
reporting that he
sending
doesn't
them?
like?
Did he do that?
He wanted to. He said so. I would like them to go.
I would really like to.
So
fly.
other people stopped him doesn't mean he's
Right.
not defying
Okay,
the Constitution.
So
he
can
also
want,
said if you turn
he can,
up,
excuse me,
please.
he can want to do something.
Yes.
That doesn't mean he will or he can.
Okay.
And I think he's very.
Well, I've already
aware
given
of
an
that.
example of something he did do to the Associated Press, but okay.
Yeah, okay, so the Associated Press isn't allowed in the Oval Office, which is his office, that's his executive space.
Okay.
And they are allowed in the press room, just like CNN, just like The Guardian.
Which he thinks are illegal media organizations.
He can
He
think
calls
whatever
he
he
calls the
wants.
media the enemies of the people.
You called him a fascist.
Yeah.
you can say whatever you want.
Yes.
Yes.
But the
and he's-
president is I'm not the president of the United States with executive
So
power
now, okay,
to
so
crack
then
down
the
on the
First
media.
Amendment only applies to the citizens, but not the president
I never
of the
said
United
that.
States.
In
Okay,
fact,
so
Donald
then
Trump
he
runs
can
his mouth
say-
more than anyone.
Yeah, absolutely, he
Yeah.
does.
And he
is-
doesn't just
he
say
is-
stuff. As I said, he actually does stuff. He actually does crack down. For example, you Fifth Amendment.
Yes.
Due process.
Yes,
Judges have actually said you have violated due process.
Yes,
of
except
people on
for
trial.
people kind of forget the Clinton, the 1996 Immigration Reform Act,
Yeah.
where you can get limited due process when you have expedited.
American citizens?
No.
What about American citizens?
Who's getting deported? That's American.
2 American children have been deported multiple this year. Have you not been?
No. Their parents have been deported, and their parents say,
No, the
"I'm
father
gonna
was
take
American.
my baby."
No.
Was mom legal?
We don't know because they didn't go to court. And the judge,
They
by
don't
the way,
have to go to
by the-
court.
yes.
That's
okay.
not a part of the due process.
Are you a lawyer?
I'm very aware of it.
Are you a lawyer?
Do I have to be? We're making an argument
you a
now
lawyer?
from, we're making
It's a simple question.
No.
Are you a lawyer?
Okay, we're making an
I'll
argument.
take that as a no. A Trump-appointed judge in the case, not some Marxist lefty judges you
I
people like
don't
to call
care.
them, a Trump-appointed conservative judge said you cannot, it is illegal and unconstitutional to expel or deport an American citizen without meaningful process. He said that in April. So that was an act that Trump
So
did. It wasn't
the
speech.
child-
He got rid of an American citizen from the country without process.
So the
That's the
child-
Fifth Amendment violation.
Since I'm not up to date on that specific
I can give you
case,
more.
I'm sure you can. So
Well, you weren't aware that American citizens are being deported. It's a pretty big story.
yeah, the
Maybe if
child
you
that
read the
probably
fake
went
news,
with
you might know.
Trump. What?
If you read the fake news, you might know what's going on. A lot of American
How
citizens
would I know what's going
have
on
been
if
deported.
I read fake news? I don't watch CNN or Rachel Maddow.
That's,
Sorry,
That's why you don't know that your fellow citizens have been deported this year.
my fellow citizens.
Are they
no.
not? American citizens haven't been deported?
Okay, when a child goes with their
All right,
adult-
guys, that's time. Please return to your
Nice to
seat.
meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, before we go any further, we want to take a moment to say thanks so much to Straight Arrow News for powering the fact checks in this video. Straight Arrow News is on a mission to raise the bar on journalism in a time of media bias and mistrust. Straight Arrow News helps you quickly find trusted information you need to understand the news. allowing you to dive deep into the topics that matter to you and the world around you. Their work is trying to break the bias bubble, helping you understand how every side of the political spectrum is reporting on a story so you get a full picture of the news. That's why we're so happy to be partnering with Straight Arrow News. They deliver the facts, unbiased, balanced, and designed to make sense of a complex world, getting you the clarity you deserve and news you can trust. Go to san.com/surrounded or click the link in the description to check it out. By clicking that link, you're not just supporting this channel. You also take advantage of a better way to get the news. Welcome back to Trustworthy Journalism. Thanks again to Straight Arrow News for partnering with us on this episode. Now, let's get into it.
My next claim is that immigrants overall are good for America. Hi, how are you?
Hello, nice to meet you,
Mehdi.
Daniela. So in regards to your claim, I just want to start by asking this. Do you care more about helping Americans or immigrants in this claim?
Immigrants are Americans. I'm an immigrant and an American.
Well, immigrants are not Americans. Americans are the people that were born here.
That's not true. Where'd you
Are you
get,
talking
what's the
about
basis of
people-
your claim for that?
Are you talking about people that get naturalized in the process of becoming
Yes.
American?
14th Amendment. Have you read it?
Okay, yes, I have.
Citizenship clause. It
so
says
I'm-
any persons born or naturalized in the United States are citizens of the United
I'm-
States.
I'm aware of that.
There's
I'm
about
a-
40 to 50 million naturalized
I'm
Americans
aware
in
of
this
that.
country.
Yes, but
You
wouldn't
didn't seem aware of it because you said Americans versus immigrants.
So, but are you understanding that the process of getting all these immigrants that come in here we've been also, the millions of immigrants, it's up to the millions, it's the last 20 years now, and it has dramatically affected Americans here in the country, which
Positively, I would argue.
people like me and everyone around here, we cannot find homes or even get jobs within our own fields that we go to college for, that we get into debt for. And because more blue collar work, especially in construction, agriculture and so forth, and the hospitality industry, we cannot get jobs in those fields. So it requires
Are you looking for a
us-
job in construction
I am
or
not,
agriculture?
no. I went
Just
to
checking.
college.
Okay.
Many people here are in college or went to college, but we can't even find jobs in our fields, also because of the H-1B visa program as well. But in regards to just your claim about immigrants specifically, we cannot even get jobs to pay for housing.
Unemployment is at a record low right now, even under Donald Trump. And I'm not a Donald Trump fan, but I would say unemployment under both Biden and Trump has been at record low levels.
Okay, is this in regards for American citizens?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm unaware of that statistic, but from what I see, from what I
I'm an
consistently
immigrant
hear-
and an American, and I employ
Sure.
many
And
American
my-
citizens,
and-
both naturalized and the ones born here.
And
I employ
my
Americans.
parents. No, my parents came
Americans as defined by you.
My parents came as immigrants to become naturalized, so I'm not necessarily opposed
Oh, wow.
to immigrants.
So you're the child of immigrants.
Correct. I'm a child of immigrants. I was born
But you don't
here.
accept that immigrants are Americans.
Not at this moment.
So your
because-
parents are not Americans?
Not at this moment.
So hold
no,
on, your parents are
they're
not Americans?
citizens. They became naturalized.
You just said you can't be citizens by being naturalized.
No, I was born here, and I'm not
Yeah,
opposed
you're born
to
here, right?
naturalization. I
But
never
are your
said that I'm against
parents-
naturalization.
Are you against naturalization?
No, I never said I was against
You did.
naturalization.
You began. Everyone was here. They can play it back on YouTube. You said Americans or immigrants. Are your parents Americans or immigrants?
No, my parents are United States citizens.
But they're immigrants. You said.
No, they came here as immigrants. However, but
So they
I want
are
to make the
immigrants.
claim
You
that
sta-
we cannot
I came
even,
here as an immigrant. I'm
but
an immigrant.
at this point, when they came, the
I
United,
think that
the
people
United
aren't
States
happy with the way
economy,
this is going for you.
the United States economy was not at.
It's better now. The American economy is better than it's been
Not
for
from
many
the-
years.
not from the
And I can say
statistics
that
I
as someone
see.
who
We
doesn't like
have-
Donald Trump.
We're
Which
giving
statistics are you
millions
seeing?
and billions of dollars
Which
to
statistics
people
are you
of
seeing?
minorities as well as
The reason the
immigrants
economy is doing badly now is
that
because
we
Donald
can't-
Trump's
that we're giving
tariff
it to loans.
policy.
We can't
Nothing
even
to do
get
with
businesses.
migrants. In fact, the
They can't
congressional.
even start businesses.
I'm an immigrant. I started a business. In
No,
fact,
I
in
understand
fact,
because the SBA
immigrants
is
are-
giving people
immigrants-
billions
I
of
didn't
loans.
take any
They're
loans
giving
from
them
SBA.
billions.
I didn't take any loans
I'm not
from
saying
SBA.
you did, but I'm
Okay, well,
saying
I'm
that
saying I did.
statistically speaking, they're giving billions of
So
loans
should we do
to these people.
statistics? According to statistics, immigrants are 80% more likely to be entrepreneurs than native-born Americans.
Sure,
They're more likely
absolutely.
to start
No,
businesses
I'm aware of
and
that.
hire Americans.
No, I'm aware of
right?
that,
Immigrants
but
are
we
more
also-
likely to pay in taxes than
Yeah.
take out in benefits.
And I'm-
They're
I'm-
more likely to add to innovation and jobs and wages. This is what the statistics show. The Congressional
yeah, I
Budget Office.
understand- I
Let me just finish my
understand
point and then let you come back
Okay,
in.
go
The
ahead.
Congressional Budget Office, which is bipartisan, Republicans and Democrats both use it. They have said that the immigration surge that you mentioned
Mm-hmm.
will lead to an extra $9 trillion of GDP over the next 10 years. That amounts to $65,000 per American household. That's $65,000 for each and every one of you holding up a red flag.
Okay, I
All
understand
right,
that, but
pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your
Nice
seat.
to meet you.
nice to meet you. Thank you.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Eddie.
What's going on, man? Nice to meet you. All right, so first, before I start, I need to know what you mean by good. I can talk about the economy, I can talk about culture, I can talk
Great.
about all those things. I need
All
to
of
know
them.
what you mean.
All of them.
All of them.
I'm saying immigrants are good for the economy. They're good for
think lower
culture.
wages are
they're
good for the
good for
economy?
society. Where's the lower wages?
What do you mean, where's the lower wages?
Where are the lower wages?
Yeah, so you can
What's
look
the
at
basis for saying there are lower wages?
Sure, so you can look at like the STEM industry. It's been in like a complete and total recession. There's been tons of studies like from the Economic Policy Institute that shows that like companies like Tesla, companies from like Silicon Valley, they engaged in mass firing of workers, around 35,000, but then they hired around 12,000 H-1B visas. And it's kind of just standard economic thinking.
It's not standard economic thinking. The vast majority of economists and economic studies suggest that there is a negligible, if no impact on wages over time
That's not
from
that's just-
immigrants.
that's
In
just-
fact, your colleague mentioned earlier, construction, there is actually evidence in construction, yes. But in some industries, in some areas, there is an impact. But overall, no. In fact, a study from the National Bureau of Economic Research found that migrants since 1965 have raised wages
Who's that
and
by?
raised innovation.
Who's that by?
productivity. National Bureau for Economic Research.
No, hold on. That's where you publish studies. I'm asking
Yes,
for
I
the
didn't
author.
memorize the names of the authors.
Yeah, I know you did. Right?
Can you
It's
give
from-
me the authors you've got?
Yeah, hold on. The study you're talking about is from Giovanni Perry, and what he did is he didn't account for aggregation issues, nor did
The
he.
vast majority of
Hold on, let
studies-
me speak,
please.
Yeah, thank you. Right. So listen, he didn't account for aggregation issues, right? And when you look at like the spatial approach, which is what all these economists use, you're not accounting for the fact that when immigrants come into an area, natives leave. If you look at an occupational approach, where you look at the specific firms that immigration is going into, like Kim ETAL 2013 did. You find a net negative impact when there's a 10% increase of immigration. You find around a 0.5% decline in wages when it comes to the specific occupations they're going to.
So
all your studies are flawed.
So 0.5%. Weigh that up against what I just mentioned from the Congressional Budget Office, which is a massive boost in GDP per head, which you're not counting for. Massive increase in tax revenue. Immigrants actually funding the deficits and debts by paying way more in taxes proportionately, including undocumented immigrants. And what's interesting about wages is I'm in a room full of, I don't know what to call you anymore, conservatives, Republicans, fascists, I don't know. One of you has proudly said
You
that.
can call us correct.
One of
That's
us
what you can
proudly.
call
Oh
us.
yeah, correct. I'm in a room full of correct people, but do any of you actually care about wages? Because for example,
I actually do.
For example,
right?
do you support raising the minimum wage?
Absolutely, and you can't do that when you're bringing all these people
So
coming into
that's
our
not
country.
the reason the
Yes,
Republican
it
Party
is.
blocks the minimum wage. You think Republican politicians don't vote for an increase in minimum wage because they're worried about immigration?
Did I
We
say
have
I
not
voted
had an
Republican?
increase.
Did I say I
We've
voted
not-
Republican?
Well, I'm in a show that was called 25 far-right Republicans.
That
so
doesn't mean I'm going to support every single Republican
Good.
candidate.
So you
right?
and I, good. So you and I,
Yeah,
you
but
and I,
don't
let's
support-
agree.
I don't
We
support-
both support raising the minimum wage. Yes,
100%.
$7.25 since 2009. It's lost 30% of its value.
100%.
If you care about wages, we should be raising the minimum wage in this country, not scapegoating migrants who aren't the cause of
Can I
low wages in the
respond?
country. You know who's causing low wages? Billionaires, millionaires,
Yeah, and
people who won't pay fair wages to their wages, regardless of whether you are an immigrant or a
I
native
get the
born
monologue, right? Now let me respond.
You had
right?
one. You had one
No,
with
no,
your,
yeah, but-
one study that had a 0.5% impact. Go.
Yeah, and your study sucked that you didn't even know who wrote it, right? So let's get back to the point,
because,
right?
Because I don't need
And
to
there
know
it
one
goes
study.
again. Yeah,
the
let's hear it.
majority of studies say that wages are not impacted
The
by
majority of your
migration over
studies
time.
are flawed. That's what I'm
They're not
telling
my
you.
studies.
Right.
Neither of us are economists. It's the economist studies.
Don't assume who I am.
Are you an economist?
I could be.
But
right?
are you?
I could be.
Are you?
I'm not going to tell you.
Are you?
I'm
Are
going to
you?
major in economics, right?
Are you an economist?
No, not right now.
Okay, so when I said neither is economist, I was correct.
Just don't assume.
To use your
things.
favorite word.
See here, dude. This is nothing of substance. You look at the red flags; they're coming up. Let me get
That's
to the point.
great, but
so
you're
when
not
you
an
talk about
economist.
when you talk about the CBO, one thing you're not accounting for here is that they're assuming an equilibrium, right? Do you know what that means? You shouldn't make these type of assumptions. You said earlier that unemployment.
Do I
was
know
like
what
at-
it means? I thought we're not doing assumptions.
Okay, hold on. You mentioned we were like at 4.2% unemployment. Yeah, that's counting people who have part-time jobs. That's counting
That's how
poverty
it's
wages.
always been counted.
Yeah, and
I'm against poverty wages.
you
Can we
won't let
agree
me
again?
Yes. If you go to like the Lookwood Institute, they calculated a way where it's like functional unemployment. Okay. If you account for things like just people who make around $25,000 a year, people who have fallen out of the labor market, people who only work part time, if you count all of those people together, and then add on the unemployment, that's around 25% of the population. So when you go, we don't have jobs, we don't have people to do this, and that, and the other. No, yes, we do. Okay, we don't have a labor shortage. We have a good job shortage. And when you keep bringing these people in,
And
they're
the good
taking those jobs.
The good job shortage is the fault of big firms, employers. I'm an employer. I can
who
say
hires
that.
the immigrants?
Who hires the immigrants?
Yeah.
Employers.
Exactly. So
But that's not
when
the
you bring up
cause-
these big firms,
Okay, so
that's the
let
way
me
they
ask you.
keep
Let me
wages
ask you
down.
a question.
Understand that, right?
So let me ask you a question. If you got rid of all immigrants coming in tomorrow, moratorium, you think that Republicans and employers of big firms would suddenly raise all the wages?
You notice
That's
how
what
you
you
didn't
believe.
answer what I said. You
That's
notice
what
how
you
it
believe.
was a complete. Are your ankles
That's what
all
you
right?
believe.
You pivoted the hell
That's what
away
you
from the
believe.
conversation.
Is that what you? I'm
Are
on
your
the
ankles
subject.
okay?
Do you believe that wages? I'm just wondering how naive you are. You believe that the 1% will raise wages in the federal wage
They will
if
be
we
forced
stop
to.
immigration?
They will be forced to.
great
When you
being a
increase
scientist.
labor's relationship to capital, okay, and you give labor more bargaining power because you're
But
tightening
this
the
is a very
supply of
simplistic
labor.
understanding of economics because you're
Okay,
not,
explain I'm wrong.
I'm telling you how you're wrong.
Let me hear
Because
it.
you're ignoring the fact that when immigrants come into an area, they spend money. They create jobs through
About
their
about
presence.
1/5 of their monthly income leaves the country.
That's a good thing also because you don't like US aid, foreign aid. So this is the point. They create
Don't
jobs. I
assume
came
that.
into this country. So far, every one of my assumptions about you has been correct. But listen to me. I am an immigrant. I'm speaking from personal experience.
Get the hell out.
I don't even like. I should get the hell out.
Yes.
Why?
I don't want you here.
Why?
Because you come here and say all this bullshit
Why?
about how Americans are lazy.
Why?
You push your left-wing
I never
politics.
said Americans are
I don't
lazy.
know why you say this.
I never said Americans
yes,
are
you
lazy.
are. You're,
The only person
saying
attacking
immigrants
people
have
is
to
you.
come into this country so they can do jobs that we don't want to do.
I
That's
never said
exactly
those
what you
words.
said.
When did I say
Oh,
it?
really? You
When did
didn't
I say
that?
it? We're
So
on
why don't we-
YouTube. Guys watching on YouTube, rewind to the time where I said immigrants are doing jobs we don't want to do. When did I say those words? Words
You
that
said-
came out of my mouth.
Okay, so why
I
do
thought
we have to
we're
bring?
doing
Why do we have to bring in
assumptions, my
immigrants?
friend.
Why do we have to bring in immigrants
All
to the
right,
country if we have
pause,
people who are going to do the jobs?
Pause. You've been voted out.
It's nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you.
You're gonna have to go, bro.
Nice talking to you. You're gonna have to go, bro, is what he said as I left to an American citizen. Good to know where you stand on immigration. It's not about immigration, is it? That's what it's not about. Hey, how you doing?
Nice to meet you.
Good to see you. How are you?
Not bad. So, what type of immigrants are we talking about?
What do you mean?
Like any immigrants or are
Immigrants, that's what I said. Immigrants
are illegal
overall.
immigrants?
Im-
part of it too?
Undocumented immigrants also contribute
Illegal.
greatly to the U.S. I say undocumented. I don't think people are illegal.
So, let's put it this way. I mean, I'm an immigrant too, from
you?
Iran.
Okay.
There isn't even
How
a
do you
U.S.
feel about the fact that people here want you out? Are you okay with that?
I'm here to debate you, not debate them.
I mean, you're all on the same side. You're part of one group.
No.
You've been clapping each other.
No, I mean, there are conservatives here, there are far-right people here, there are Republicans
But how do
here.
you feel about that guy wanting me and you to leave?
But, you know, let's
I'm just
stick-
wondering. Wait, this is the topic of immigration.
It's not
how
about
do you feel
my,
about the
it's
guy?
not about my feelings towards them.
Okay.
It's about staying on this topic.
Okay.
And
Immigrants
talk
are good for America, yeah. You and me, we're good for America. And the
So-
guy over there wants us to leave. So I'm just wondering how you feel about that.
So I believe that there has to be strict immigration laws.
Okay.
We have to make sure that the people are coming here have the good intent of the United States
Yeah.
in mind.
That's not my claim, but okay.
So
my claim is about immigrants are net
if,
positive.
If we just open our borders to every single person
No one
that wants
calls
to
for
be
open
here,
borders.
you know, that claims that they have economical hardship in their country.
Who's calling for open borders?
No, I'm just saying, you know.
Or it's a straw man. So you're just saying a straw man.
No, I'm saying
You're
that
wasting
if you-
time with a straw man. No one's
No.
calling for open borders. I
I
didn't
mean,
call for open
well,
borders.
you wasted
I said
time.
immigrants who.
You
sorry?
wasted time trying to cause division between me and my friends
Division.
over
He
here.
wants you to leave the country. That's a pretty big deal.
All right.
I mean, you can ignore
Like
it,
I
but
said-
that's your side, my friend.
Like I said,
You
you were
made
the
your
one
bet.
that tried to derail this argument.
Derail?
By bringing that.
It's
Even
literally
though we're
core to my
trying
argument. I'm saying immigrants are good to America. People on
And-
your
and
side
I
are
asked
saying
you, what
we
type
should
of-
leave. Not me.
And,
me and
I
you.
asked you, what type of immigrants are we talking about? Are we
Immigrants
talking about
overall.
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 So
I
so
mean, we're
you-
not gonna.
So
you, want to
believe,
you want me to get into like particular communities? I'm not
so,
playing that
so
game.
you believe that people that come here without
Overall,
any
help
respect,
the society.
without any respect to our laws and our border,
No,
you know, are going to be good for this country.
No, of course not.
So you can't say that all immigrants overall.
I never said all immigrants.
Well,
I said
you
immigrants overall. Immigrants overall doesn't mean all immigrants. Sorry to break that to you.
All right, so we have to make sure that the people are coming here have the good intent of this country in
Agreed.
mind. Agreed?
Yes.
All right,
Irrelevant
good.
to my claim,
But
but
when you
agreed.
have undocumented immigration going
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
you can't vet that. You can't make sure about that. Let me real quick, you know, talk about my background. There is no the American embassy in Iran. So in order to come here, you have to stay in line for 4 years, and you have to go through some serious vetting procedure to get here. But I made it. And that process has to be in place because, I mean, you don't want terrorists
But
to
hold on.
fill this
I
country.
made it too. I'm an American citizen. I went through lots of vetting. I took my test.
And that's how
But
that's
the
how
guy
it
over
should
there
be.
wants us to leave.
But
he wants us to leave.
when people
So people don't really care about vetting, do they?
But
It's not really about vetting, is it, my
but
friend?
people should not have
You're
the
in denial.
right. People should not have the right to ignore our borders and our laws.
What about those
to
of us who
come
don't
here.
ignore the borders? Should we get to stay?
Of course.
But
I mean,
he says we shouldn't.
Well, I'm not debating him.
You kind of are because you're all
No,
together on this.
No, I'm debating you.
Okay. And I'm pointing out to you that your argument is in bad faith because these guys are actually speaking the truth and you're in denial about who's on your side. He wants you gone.
Like I never claim that I'm on their side or they're on my side.
Okay.
I'm here to debate you.
All right, pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please
Thank you,
return to your
Nice
seat.
to meet you. Hey, how you doing? I'm Mehdi.
Edwin.
Nice to meet you.
The question is, immigration is good for America, right?
Overall, if you look at the net positives to things like our society, our culture, our food, our economy, our general diversity, I know the D word is a bad word in places like this. I think immigrants have been a net positive. I think if you look at your everyday lives, we all benefit from immigration.
And what kind of conservatives disagree with that?
The guy,
Besides
the guy,
racist
some
guy
of the guys who told me to leave this place and go back to, I'm not a citizen.
Do you think all conservatives?
No,
Oh.
No, in fact, Ronald Reagan, who's a president I wasn't a big fan of until Donald Trump came along. Now people like Reagan look good in comparison. Reagan said in 1986, our country is a nation of immigrants. Our immigrant heritage is our strength. He gave an amnesty to 3 million undocumented migrants. He understood the value of immigration. So I'm with Reagan.
Yeah,
Although
I'm
this
with
guy's
Reagan.
putting his thumb down there. So
I'm with
Reagan's not
Reagan,
popular in right-wing crowds these days.
Yeah. Well, he's popular with me.
Good to hear.
I'm a deferred action of childhood arrivals. I was an illegal immigrant myself. I came here when I was 10. I'm what you would call a legal alien now. I didn't have any say on my parents' choices.
Yes.
Do I think that they were well-meaning by wanting to bring me over for a better future? Absolutely. I believe that.
Yeah.
Did they break the law? Yes. Do I agree with people breaking the law? Not necessarily. Do I think that there's ever a situation where you can break the law for the better or the greater good? Immigration is it's an interesting issue because I do agree with you that
good to hear.
Everyone is an immigrant in the sense like. Can you tell me a little bit more about your journey?
I've been here 10 years. I'm a proud American citizen. I'm a dual national. I'm British. I'm American. And I am an immigrant who's contributing to this country. So, yes, I'm very much proud of America's immigrant heritage. I'm part of it. And despite what one of the other people said on this show earlier, everyone here, unless you're Native American,
All right,
is a descendant
pause.
of immigrants.
Sorry, you've been voted out.
Of course.
Please return to your seat.
Thank you, man.
Nice to meet you.
How's it going?
Hey, how's it going?
Actually a fan. I see you a lot on Piers Morgan.
Okay, thank you for watching.
Yeah. So my argument is that Americans are what is a nation? A nation is a geographical location full of people who have some things in common. So I think some of the things typically in history are going to be like race, religion, ethnicity, language. These are some of the things that we have to have in common in order to actually have a functioning civilization, especially in self-government. I'm not necessarily a giant fan of self-government. I'm a Catholic nationalist. I'm not a fascist. You have to have at least some things in common in order to
Agreed.
actually have a civilization. And the immigrants, especially illegal immigrants that come into this country now, disrespect us. They hate everything that we believe. They don't even speak our language. I watched, after Trump got elected, I watched an interview of an illegal alien woman crying and about getting deported, and the entire interview was in Spanish. That is a spit in the face. It's disrespect. They don't care about us. They abuse our system.
So
and
you've
they
gone from a
abuse
teleological argument into just a bunch of series of wild, unsubstantiated
Well, I'm asking
claims.
you, what is the-
I don't accept any of those claims. That they
what's
hate
the point of
everything
a
we
country?
stand for, and I don't accept. Well, I'm not going to deal with the teleology. I'm going to deal with the false claims that you
Okay,
made.
go ahead.
There's no what's your basis for saying that all immigrants or all undocumented immigrants hate everything we stand for? It's funny that you said you're a Catholic nationalist. How did most Catholics get to America? Irish Catholics, Italian Catholics. Immigration.
Mm-hmm.
Much of the people coming across the southern border are
Conquest.
Catholics.
Yeah, I know, I don't-
So
I-
it's
that's
really
not-
funny that you say you're a Catholic
Is there-
nationalist, but Catholics came to America via immigration.
Yeah, so there's...
So immigration is good for America. You and I can agree. Otherwise, people of your faith wouldn't be here.
No. We were here on this side of the world, in this continent, from conquest. We came over here and
But the big surges of numbers,
Okay.
as you well know, because you're a smart guy,
Yeah.
Italian, Irish immigration waves, Catholic immigration waves.
Okay, yeah, and I'm not
Are
even
you
claiming...
against those?
I'm not even
Were
claiming...
you against those if you were
well,
alive
I'm
then?
not even claiming that
'Cause
immigration
a lot of people
is
were
bad.
against those.
I'm not claiming immigration is bad in all cases at all times.
What is your claim?
My claim is that immigration, especially now, and especially for foreign people that have nothing in common with us,
It's funny that you say it's especially
a negative
now.
thing.
I've forgotten
Yeah.
your name. My apologies.
Brian.
Brian.
Yeah, how many
in
peop-
every era there has been a Brian who says, "I'm not against immigration, just immigration now."
Okay.
This is what people said about Italians. It's what people said
That's
about Irish
unfortunate,
folks.
sorry.
Said about Russians, Poles, and now we're saying about
why
people
should
coming
I care
across the
about
southern
that?
border. Because you're not being, you're
Why
being a
are-
little disingenuous saying,
Okay.
"I'm only against immigrants now." This is a trope.
that
This
disingenuous?
is because it's a trope that's been used by nativists throughout American history,
No.
and every wave of immigrants has come in and faced the same hate and animus and bigotry and lazy trope, and every wave of immigration is ultimately
Well, I think-
assimilated, integrated, benefited the
let me
country. In
make
fact,
a-
assimilation right now, according to Jacob Victor from the University of Washington,
Okay.
assimilation rates based on language and citizenship and naturalization are higher now than 100 years ago.
Okay, let me make a statement first. I think that you, in
You
your own
ignored my
word-
statement. statement, but okay.
you and your own person are a complete perfect example of why immigration is negative and why we shouldn't allow people who
Why?
don't have anything in
Why?
common with us. You're pro-abortion. You're pro-euthanasia. You're pro.
I'm
you're
pro-euthanasia? I thought
Yeah,
that-
you went. I've seen your stuff. You've defended
I'm
euthanasia.
pro-euthanasia?
Yeah, on Piers Morgan.
No, I've never discussed euthanasia
well,
with Piers Morgan in my life.
Okay, so my point is that you don't agree
Actually,
with
I'm
the
the guy
founders
here.
of this country.
If anyone watching at home, I'm the only guy here who actually supports American values, democracy, free speech, the Constitution. I've
Yeah.
got folks here telling me they don't believe in democracy, that they're nationalists.
Wait, why should we care about that, by the way?
Isn't that what America stands for? What does America
No,
stand
no,
for?
why-
so
why-
you hate what America stands for, not
No,
me.
I'm not even
And in
saying-
fact, all the studies show that immigrants actually are more patriotic
So the only reason,
than native-born Americans.
The only reason why, that's the Mexicans in LA right now burning it down, waving Mexican flags.
LA's being burned down?
Please don't send us back to the country that we're waving the flag of.
I've been in LA for a few
Ooh.
days. I didn't see anything burned down.
Yeah, I know the
Where?
riots have ended. That's because Trump sent.
But if
in
it's
the
burned down,
military.
where's it all burned down? I haven't seen
They
it. I've
firebombed
traveled around all of
cars.
LA.
They
You said
firebombed
LA was
Waymo's.
burned down. LA is
Yeah, it's a
500
figure
square
of
miles.
speech.
It's
Yeah,
not a figure
I'm
of speech,
saying-
actually. It's
I'm
another
saying
false
they're
claim of
burning.
yours.
No, they're burning
I support
buildings.
euthanasia. LA's burned to the ground.
Bro, just
Immigrants
listen,
hate what we stand
relax.
for.
Okay, so
I'm super
so
relaxed.
you're pro-abortion.
But you're just saying
Where's
one
the-
false thing after
no,
another.
So you're pro-abortion,
And I'm
right?
standing by my position.
You're-
Immigrants are good for
You're
America.
pro-abortion. You're an immigrant.
I'm
Where's
pro
the-
Roe v. Wade.
Yeah,
Personally, I'm not pro-abortion. If you knew anything about me, you know that.
Roe v. Wade is.
All right, pause. You've been voted out.
I was going to say nice to meet you, Brian, but I guess not. You made it.
Great to
Nice
see
to meet
you.
you, Mandy.
My name is Cyrus.
Nice to meet you, Cyrus.
I am also son of 2 immigrants, came in legally. I'm also Persian descent.
Fantastic.
Born in LA.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Tehrangelis.
Yes, yes. Well, I am mainly upset, not at the immigrants, legal or not. I'm mainly upset at Wall Street. I'm mainly upset at the
Same.
elites, the special interests.
I'm with you.
They are the main reason why we've been having this issue since 1965. And most want to do well. There are a few bad apples, we can agree.
Okay.
But we want to go after the elites. They are the main
I agree.
cause of the problem.
Love it.
And just like
I'm with you.
healthcare, trade,
I'm with you.
everything.
Did you
it's
know,
the-
Cyrus, that the top 1% dodge $163 billion in taxes every year, while undocumented people pay $100 billion in tax? So
Well,
I know where my anger is against.
There are issues with our tax system on the rich, but in a state like California, some taxes are too high. I used to live here,
It's a
now I
different
live
debate.
in Las Vegas.
Different debate.
Okay.
I'm saying
but
immigration is good for
it
America.
depends on the
People
tax.
like you and me overall are good for America, is what I'm
Okay,
saying.
but it depends on how it's done.
Yes.
It depends on how it's
And
done.
how it's been done to
so
the US is
I'm
good.
not blaming the housing crisis on immigrants,
No, and you'd be
not
wrong
on
too.
wages,
And you'd be
but
wrong too.
in a state like California that doesn't build enough homes
Yep.
and they're bringing immigrants in, you have to increase supply of housing.
agree.
Okay.
I agree.
But this is where our anger is at the political class.
I agree.
The Democrat Party used to have a different stance on immigration 15 years ago. Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton.
I'm not a fan of that. I'm not here to defend different Democrats. What I will say
Okay,
is
well,
that,
that's our anger,
What I will
Alex.
say is that everyone here actually does think immigration is good for America. Everyone here uses an iPhone designed by an immigrant, is on Gmail
Fair
designed
point.
by an immigrant, is
But-
is on a YouTube show.
But
you
this
guys
is-
all came to a YouTube show
Yeah.
founded by an immigrant. You wouldn't
Fair
be
point,
here
but that's
if it
a
wasn't for
tiny
an immigrant.
minority,
So
though.
you all love immigrants, whether you
Mhm.
like it or not.
Okay, but it is a taboo subject. Should we be concerned about the demographics? So,
no.
Anglo-Saxon, European American, 0% of America, it doesn't matter.
Are they 0% of America?
But let's say if it becomes 0%, it should not worry.
They're not going to. Why are you bringing weird hypotheticals?
But there has to. But I mean, they're still part of our country. There's culture. There's.
Yeah.
I mean, even Britain. Like,
I mean,
it
America's gone through
concerns
many
me.
demographic
But it
waves,
concerns me when Britain
what's-
is
Britain-
changing,
Britain is-
and it's. It's like
Britain's
they're
been
losing their
changing for
culture,
years.
but it's
Who said
losing
they're
their
losing
culture.
Who
Are
says
they?
so?
Are they going to try to?
I'm
what
from
are
the
they
UK.
gonna-
I'm telling you, no one's losing their culture. in the UK.
London is going to be very little British in
Who
one
says
day.
so?
What's the plan? That's what we want to know. What's the
You
plan?
just made that up. Have you been
But
to London?
how do we know?
Cyrus, have you been to London?
No.
So then maybe you shouldn't comment on places you don't know anything about.
But what's the plan?
I grew up in London.
What's
London's
the
a very
general
British
plan?
city. I was in London a few weeks ago.
Okay.
It's a very British
I
city.
hope not. I understand that there are people in this audience that don't like me or you in this
Yeah,
country,
they want
and
us
I
to leave.
respect that. There's some that don't even want me to date a blonde woman. They want to keep to their own, or ginger or whatever. I respect that, but there has to be a deal made. There's Idaho, there's Montana. They can go live in a homogeneous society. I don't believe enforce, okay? And I believe that there has to be a deal made. And I think there's upsides and downsides to
There is a
diversity.
deal made. People have elections. They vote for elections. And right now, there's Donald Trump in the White House. Not someone I support, but people voted for him.
Well, why did he get in? Mainly because we had
It's a big subject.
2016,
Not sure we have time to get into that.
2016,
There's a lot of
Bernie
reasons he got in.
Sanders. Okay.
Part of the reason he got in is that people in this room want people like me and you to leave, and they voted for him to try and make that happen.
I'm not surprised. One of the Charlottesville marchers doesn't like me. And I've met those people. And I respect their views.
You really shouldn't.
Well, they're wants.
Don't respect racists and fascists, is my advice to you.
Well, they have their preferences. You know, that's just, we can't change that.
Actually, we can. That's why I tried to come here today, but anyways.
All right, that's time. Please return to your seat.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you,
Great
Cyrus.
pleasure. Good.
My final claim is that Donald Trump's plan for Gaza is ethnic cleansing. Hey,
I'm
how are you?
Sarah. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
You too. So why do you say this is Donald Trump's plan? Why do you think that?
I mean, he says it's his plan. Have you seen his plan?
When
Have you
did
heard
he
his plan?
say it?
He said it standing next to Benjamin Netanyahu in January, February. He said it on Fox News in an interview on Fox. He said it on Air Force One when he was chatting to reporters.
Word for word, what's an example of what he said?
Word for word, he said, for example, we're going to clean out the Gaza Strip. He said they're going to leave. We're going to take control of it. He says, we'll own it. I would own it, he says. I'm not sure under international law how he can own a foreign piece of land. And when he was asked on Fox News, the people, the Palestinians who are being forced to leave, would they be able to come back? He said, no, they wouldn't. That is the literal definition of ethnic cleansing, according to a UN definition of ethnic cleansing.
Why do you think that Trump is saying this? Do you think that he has some personal interest in cleansing Gaza, or do you think there might be some special interest group or perhaps religious or ethnic group that's, that maybe he received money from them and that's the whole reason why he wants to cleanse Gaza? Or why do you think that is?
I don't do Donald Trump's motivations. I really don't care. My claim is that what he's doing is ethnic cleansing.
Well,
do you agree with that?
I would actually, probably agree, but I'm just...
You agree that it's ethnic cleansing? You agree with doing ethnic
No,
cleansing?
I don't agree with it, but I agree that's probably his plan. But I'm trying to figure out, why do you think that is? Because Donald Trump's a white man. He identifies as Christian. I'm not sure if he really is. But what interest does he have in preserving a Jewish ethno-state? Why would he have that?
It's a good question. You'd have to ask Donald Trump that
But
question.
you-
I've got
you don't-
multiple views.
you don't
I'm sure
think-
you have many views. I'm not sure I like where you're going with your views, but I think Donald Trump is definitely someone who's got financial interests in ethnic cleansing. He's got political interests. He loves the evangelical voters he get. A lot of Christian evangelicals like to support Israel because they think Jesus will come back if all the Jews are gathered in one place with no Palestinians. I think he's going to make money, he thinks, from beachfront property with Jared Kushner. He said something similar in the
You
past.
think that's the real reason?
I think there's multiple reasons, yeah. I think financial, geopolitical, ideological, evangelical. I don't really care. My claim is that what he's doing is ethnic cleansing. Ethnic cleansing is a war crime according to the Fourth Geneva Convention.
Yeah, I agree.
It's against international law under the Rome Statute. So we shouldn't be part of that. The United States should not be supporting Donald Trump's plan for
I agree.
ethnic cleansing.
I agree.
Good.
What do you
Glad to be in
think? What do you
agreement.
think should be done instead with the Israel-Gaza situation? I'm not sure what your stance
I would like
is on
to see a
this.
ceasefire in
Ceasefire,
Gaza.
two-state
I would like to
solution
see.
type
I don't
thing.
really get into debates about what solutions. I would like to see an end to the killing. I would
Yeah.
like to see Gazans have freedom. I would like to see the Palestinians in Gaza somehow get their land back. 80% of Gaza right now is under Israeli military control or displacement. I would like to see freedom for the Palestinian people. I'm an American. To go back to the core of this show, I support American values. One person, one vote.
It really
free
is,
speech.
It really is a religious and ethnic
It
battle.
is not a religious battle.
Well, yes,
No, it's
that
not.
is what it's
No,
obviously
it's
between
not.
Jews and Muslims.
No,
both
it's
want
not.
control of the Holy Land.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
What else? What other?
Actually, the founders of Israel were secular. They were not religious, actually. And I think some
Well, they're
some
Zionists,
religious
yeah.
Jews, like Bezalel Smotrich, who's the Israeli government minister,
religious, it doesn't really
is
matter.
a religious
my
fanatic.
Point is, my
but that
point
is
is,
not, no, the core of the conflict is over land. It's colonial.
That's
it's
fine,
historic. It is
well,
not
yeah,
about
but
religion.
colonialism is for a reason.
The
Like, it's
people who
because
want
they
to steal the
Jews
land
have
want everyone to believe it's
My
religious.
point is, why
No,
are we
I
sitting
don't have any
here?
objections
Why
to
are we sitting here?
Christians
It's
or
like a false dichotomy where we have to argue, like, do Jews get Israel? Do Muslims get Israel? Why are we?
I've never brought up anyone's religion.
How many of us
I didn't
here,
bring up anyone's religion.
How
You
many
did.
of us here are Christians?
I didn't bring up anyone's
trying
religion.
to pick sides between Jews and Muslims taking over Israel. Like, don't you think that
Hold on. First of all, I didn't bring up religion. Second of all, you know that a lot of Palestinians are Christian, right?
some of them?
You're just
yeah,
reducing
it's
it to
very
Muslim
small.
versus
Well,
Jew.
it's majority Muslim. Yeah, it's very.
But there
small
are many
percentage.
prominent
I agree.
Palestinian
Yeah,
Christians.
but there's not
So
that many.
so
of
it's
them,
not
yeah.
worth
So
reducing
it
everything
is.
to
Well,
religion.
it is the reason. Why do you think Iran is backing proxies that want to take over Gaza and back the terrorism in Gaza? It's obviously because they want to Muslim control of the land. You don't think that's why?
No, I don't think it's about religion.
Is it-
I've been following this conflict for decades. It's not about religion. People who say it's about religion, it's a distraction.
Well, it's a big part of it, I think.
I think it's become a big part of it. It's been weaponized by bad faith actors, sure. But I don't think that's the core. The core is that one group of people are dominating another group of people.
What group of
it is
people
apartheid.
is it? But what group of people is dominating another group of people?
One ethnic group is dominating another ethnic group.
What ethnic group?
Jewish people.
Yes, dominating.
Arabs.
Yes.
But I didn't say anything about Christian, Muslim, Jew in a religious sense.
Okay,
Jews
well,
defined as religion and ethnicity. You know that, right?
Well, why do you think that Muslims want control of the Holy Land?
You keep saying Muslims. I didn't bring up Muslims.
Well, they're Muslim states. Like, what do you think? Like Iran wants to do with
I
the
didn't bring
Holy
up
Land?
Iran.
But that's part of the conversation. What do you mean?
No, it's not. The conversation is Donald Trump is doing ethnic cleansing, and you agree with me. So I'm not sure why you're still here, to be honest.
It's part of the larger context.
It's a weird
of the
debate when you actually agree with me.
What I was trying to say is we kind of have this false dichotomy here, where we're trying to take the side of the Gazans, which mostly it's a Muslim majority, or the side of the Jews,
human beings who are suffering.
to try to decide who gets control over Israel.
I didn't say anything about control.
America,
I said don't ethnically cleanse.
is a majority Christian country. Shouldn't we be deciding Christians should have control of the
I
Holy
agree. Donald
Land?
Trump should not, nothing to do with religion. Donald Trump should not be deciding what happens to Gaza. That's my claim. If you agree with me, great. Let's shake hands. Give the seat to someone who disagrees with me.
So are you saying, do you think that America should just cut ties with Israel altogether?
What's your definition of cut ties?
Like stop funding them, stop being their military arm?
Yes,
Okay,
I'm on
great.
record saying
Okay.
that. That was an easier debate. Whoa. Welcome back, Richie. You really want to be here?
First of all, I really thought that obviously where we started, where it ended up, there's a lot of aggression. I can see in your eyes there's a level of exhaustion from being here. This is where my empathy comes in. Where it doesn't is, when you have a room full of people that do agree with you, we have this opportunity to come together. And you're kind of mocking people when they do. So you mocked Sarah a little bit when you guys clearly had a common interest and goal to reach. So I can tell you're agitated. I want to bring that all down, please.
I'm guessing you're not going to, but let's see.
No, I'm going to. I do want to point out some contradictions. First and foremost, I don't believe you're pro-American in the value system that you claim to uphold, especially with free speech, if you're not willing to debate people that don't share your values. That's very un-American.
Do you believe Donald Trump's plan for Gaza is ethnic cleansing?
I don't believe it's ethnic cleansing, because it's not his plan.
It is his plan. He said it's my plan.
No,
Benjamin Netanyahu called it his plan.
He is obeying someone else's plan.
Okay. Who is he obeying?
He is obeying Israel's plan
Okay.
for the Greater Israel Project, of which this is one of those things that we can agree on.
Why is he doing that?
Why is he doing that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they have something on him. Maybe they have something on all Americans.
But you think it's a bad thing what he's doing?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
no,
Glad
that's
to
why,
agree with you.
But see, I don't want to shut
I'm
down
not
the
mocking you, I'm
conversation.
agreeing with you.
Okay, perfect. But I want to take this opportunity, because I don't know if I'm going to get the opportunity again, to say, you're not American. First and foremost, you're not.
Remember when I said the agitation from you is not going to be lower?
What I'm saying,
you came to lower the temperature and then make racist remarks. You know that's a racist remark.
It's not racist.
You tell an American citizen.
Perfect. You just proved your own point. You just said that was a racist position.
Yes.
Earlier, you argued this contention that America has no race. It's a bunch of immigrants that culminate together into
America has no race.
You inferred it. You absolutely did. Okay. So now you're saying it's racist for me to take an American nationalist approach. You're kind
of
an
American national approach? Is that a white approach?
I think it's a white nativist approach. Of course,
so
absolutely.
only Americans are white people.
Why did your parents immigrate
from India?
Only
white people.
Why did your parents immigrate from India to the UK?
Because the UK colonized and conquered India.
Okay, why did you immigrate to America?
Because many reasons.
Okay, all opportunity. There's opportunity.
That's not true. You don't know.
The accent. Your accent is an afflict of white Anglo-Saxon.
But you know there are 50 million Americans in this country.
I understand, but
none of them are Americans in your view.
What I'm trying to get you to do to reach a common ground here.
We're not going to reach a common ground because you said I'm not American.
Please try.
I don't think you're American.
I'm saying you're not.
I don't think you're American.
I'm saying you're not American due to values.
I don't think you're not American on values either. I think you're a little fascisty, a little racisty.
See, you're using these words. Okay, first of all, I want to say this.
I'm not just throwing them at you. You didn't come sit down. I said it.
Every conservative that has ever been shut down by leftists like you, for every conservative, for
you're
every
not a conservative. You've already said.
For every right
wing.
You've
already said you're not a conservative.
For every Stefan Molyneux, Thomas Sowell, Nick Fuentes, all of those people.
Is Thomas Sowell American?
He's Australian. But that's not the point. I'm saying people that are on our side of the aisle that get shut down by people like you because you're leveraging this position of emotion.
You're joking, right?
No, I'm not. You're leveraging
you know nobody
the position
on,
of emotion.
My side of the aisle is trying to deport you. The only shutting down is being done by you.
They're actually trying to genocide my entire race. So what are you talking about?
Wow.
What are you talking about?
You're a white genocide guy?
Are you kidding me?
Wow.
You know the fact you're
I'm
Indian.
amazed that Jubilee find some of you guys. How did they find you?
Do you see
Did
what
they
you're
email
doing?
you? Do you have Gmail?
Why are you trying to oust me? This
Do you
is
shop
such a
at
cheap
Costco?
tactic.
Do you go to Nordstrom?
No,
All
I'm
immigrants.
trying
Have you
to-
ever been on eBay?
No, but
immigrants.
I'm
You love
agreeing-
immigrants.
No, I'm agreeing.
You love immigrants when they're helping you.
I'm
You just
not-
don't like the color of
it's
my
not
skin.
we're having a different
All right,
conversation.
pause.
White genocide.
We're having a different
Pause.
conversation.
All right, you've been voted out. Please return to your seat.
Okay. I really wish we could have got some.
I mean, you believe in white genocide, so it's very hard to.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you.
Hello. So, I'll switch over to the Gaza thing in a second, but
Okay.
first off, I just wanted to touch on that. You said that you support free speech, of course, right? So, what I'm confused about is you've refused to debate people that I've disagreed with you because you said that they're racist or they're fascist, right?
No. If we're going to do facts, they said they were racist and fascist. Get your facts right before you start arguing.
So isn't the whole entire point of a debate to debate people that you don't agree with?
I don't debate people who don't see me, A, as equal, no point, or B, support democracy, because that would undermine the whole idea of the debate. If you don't support democracy, as our friend here doesn't, and support General Franco, then what is the point of a debate? The First Amendment doesn't mean you have to debate everyone. Somebody comes up to you in the street and starts talking to you, you don't have an obligation to carry on talking to them. I'm sure you go about your business. Somebody comes up to you in the subway and sits next to you and starts ranting in your face. You're not going to start debating.
So
them.
everybody here in the street,
everyone here has hygiene standards,
Yeah.
as do you. There are people you wouldn't debate, I'm sure, as well.
Okay. So, can you please describe why you think Trump is supporting ethnic cleansing of Gaza just because he wants to take over the land there? How does that equate to killing them?
Not just take over the land, kick out all the people. That is the definition of ethnic cleansing.
So, isn't ethnic cleansing killing people? Because it seems like you're.
No, you can ethnic cleanse people without killing them. And by the way, they have been killed. More than 50,000 people in Gaza have been killed by the Israelis, by people like Bezalel Smotrich, who said recently, the finance minister of Israel, we are going to Gaza to conquer, cleanse, and remain. We're going to annihilate the place. We're going to disassemble Gaza, he said. We're going to leave it behind as piles of rubble. That's the guy Trump's funding, supporting. That's the guy praising Trump. So yes, Trump and Smotrich are ethnically cleansing Gaza.
I cannot deny that thousands of people are dying in Gaza, but you need to realize, why are they dying? Is it possibly that they're attacking another country?
No,
just
the
because
people who are
Israel
dying were
is
not attacking another country.
Just because Israel is killing more Gazans than Gazans are killing Israel, doesn't mean Gaza is righteous and Israel is evil.
I never
Now,
said anything about evil or righteous.
Israel
I said
might be-
ethnic cleansing. You said don't they have to be killed. I said they are being killed, and the criteria for what's happening to
Yes.
them. If Donald Trump says these people have to leave and never come back, is that not ethnic cleansing? What is your definition of ethnic cleansing?
I would think ethnic cleansing is when you're killing off a large part of an ethnic group.
That's
such as-
genocide. You're confusing your terms. Ethnic cleansing is removing one ethnic group using a deliberate policy by violence or terror-inspiring means to remove another population, another ethnic group from a certain geographic area. That's the UN definition of ethnic cleansing. That is what he's doing. When he was asked Donald Trump, can they come back? He said, no, they cannot. That is ethnic. I've heard all these. We've had
that
people
is
talk about
because-
white genocide today.
Okay.
You guys are nationalists. How would you feel
You're talking
if somebody
75%
came,
of the
a
time.
president of France came and told you to leave your land and not come back? Would you not feel you'd been ethnically cleansed from your home?
From America?
Yeah.
Well, because my ancestors were settlers here, not immigrants. They actually built
Palestinians
something.
are not immigrants in Gaza.
The
They
Israel's
are
built up the
indigenous
area.
people to the land.
Didn't Israel just give Gaza the land like a few decades ago?
No.
I'm pretty sure Israel used to have that land.
I'm pretty sure you're
in
wrong.
the 1900s.
They
Yes,
withdrew
they did.
from 2005 from the land, but controlled
Yeah,
the
and then
air.
gave it to them in 2005.
No, they don't give it to them. They control the air,
give them-
the sea space, the borders, the population registry. They controlled what went in and out. It was a prison, an open-air prison. That's not giving
But
them
don't they have
freedom.
a border with Egypt and then the Mediterranean
Yes,
Sea?
and the
So how's that
Israelis
a
and
prison?
Egyptians work together because Donald Trump and Joe
Really?
Biden
The
and
Egyptians
Barack
that are
Obama.
Muslim?
Yes, they're funded by the United States. Did you know
Really?
that Muslim countries do bad things too?
No, I know that they do bad things.
Okay,
I'm not-
then, so
I'm
we're
not-
in agreement.
All right,
Yes.
pause. You've been voted out. Please return
All right,
to your seat.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, wow. Great.
Hello, sir. Welcome back.
See you again, Mehdi. All right, so I agree that Trump wants to do a cleansing, but not an ethnic one, because that area requires a lot of cleansing. Because when you have a population that was taught from early childhood age to hate Jews, Christians, and pagans, you need some serious re-education.
Number one, that's not true. And number two, that's not what he's proposing.
Well, I mean, most Palestinians, by polling number, do support Hamas.
They support resisting Israel.
Well, I mean, the thing is, what did they do in the first place that they're in this, what you call open-air prison?
Great question. What did they do to deserve being occupied?
Well, here's the thing, because the Islamic Republic in Iran is using them as a tool.
What has Iran got to do with this?
As a tool for their Islamic expansion.
When did the Islamic...
Because they don't...
Hold on. When did the Islamic Republic of Iran... You're Iranian American,
Yes.
I believe.
Yes, I am.
When was the Islamic Republic of Iran founded?
1979.
When was Gaza occupied by Israel?
The very first time.
67.
67, yeah.
So, can we do the maths together? 12 years before the Islamic Republic of Iran existed, Israel was oppressing, occupying, dispossessing the people of Gaza. So your argument makes no sense.
Were there any terrorist organizations at the time?
The PLO was considered a terrorist organization by the entire Western world.
All right, so was Hamas there?
Hamas did not exist till the 1980s.
Exactly. My point is, after the Islamic Republic came, it became chaotic because the Islamic Republic started to use the so-called innocent Palestinians for their own
So-called
ends.
innocent Palestinians? You don't think Palestinians are innocent?
Not all of them.
But what about the 17,000 children who were killed?
They're doing the same.
17,000 children were killed. Were they not innocent? Were they not innocent?
Who's responsible for that?
Israel, who dropped the bombs on
Hamas
them.
is responsible. Hamas is responsible for hiding in hospitals and making tunnels underneath
So
those
when
hospitals.
children are shot in the head by Israeli snipers are not responsible for that.
Look,
It's a simple question.
Here's the problem.
When Israeli snipers shoot Palestinian children in Gaza in the head, as eyewitness testimony and doctors' testimony proves, that's not the fault of the Israeli snipers.
This is the problem, because when you have a
The problem is you won't answer the question. I'll ask you a third time. When Israeli snipers shoot Palestinian children in the head, is that not the fault of Israeli snipers?
Well, you gotta let me finish.
No, you got to answer the question. Fourth time.
Well,
when Israeli
I will
snipers
get to
shoot
your answer.
Palestinian children in the
I
head,
will get to your
we're running out
answer.
of time. I need to
Well,
know what you think about innocent children.
because I will
what
get
you
to-
said was pretty outrageous. You said
I will
so-called
get to your answer.
innocent Palestinians. For the fifth time, when Palestinian children are shot in the head by Israeli snipers,
What
is that
did-
not the fault
what-
of Israeli
what did those
snipers?
children do?
What did
what did
you
they do?
tell me? Did the children deserve to be shot in the head?
Because the problem is
you
over
know
there,
millions of people are watching you say
they
to
start
justify the
brainwashing
killing of
children. They start brainwashing children at a very young age.
So you support
exact same-
sniping children in Gaza?
Look,
do other people here support sniping children in Gaza? Is that a conservative position now?
What if they're wearing a suicide vest?
They weren't.
But what if they are?
They're not, though.
What
Dozens
if
of
they
children.
are?
I have friends who went
What-
there. Doctors went to
what
Gaza.
if-
American doctors. They came back as we were multiple children.
What if
with
they're
gunshot
hell bent?
shots.
What if they're hell
What if
bent
they're
on
not?
killing you and your family?
A 10-year-old child, an 8-year-old child, a 6-year-old child.
Because
this is
like
bad
I said,
for you.
Like
You're
said,
sitting on
they're
live
brainwashing
television
them. They're
where millions of people are going to see your neighbors, your
because
friends.
the millions
you support the killing of children.
Millions of people don't know what's going on.
Even your fellow right-wingers are saying, don't go this far. White
Millions-
genocide, sure, but don't advocate
Millions of
killing
people
kids.
don't understand the brainwashing that is going on in Islamic Republic and in Palestine to create
You're
this
obsessed
hatred.
with Iran so much that you're supporting the killing of Palestinian children who never harmed you or any other Israeli. That's insane.
Look.
And the fact that you support Trump's ethnic cleansing now doesn't surprise me.
I didn't say ethnic cleansing. I said cleansing of the land.
All right, pause.
Because you need to cleanse
I'm
the land
sure-
from
I'm
all the
sure
tunnels.
Slobodan Milosevic
said
similar
terrorism.
stuff.
You've been voted out. Please return to your seat.
How you doing? Good to see you again.
I'm good seeing you too, man. First thing I'm going to say is I'm not down for Israel. Okay, that's the first thing I'm going to say. And I don't like when you come up here and you use the type of rhetoric that you do. You talk like all these like left-wing positions, and then you go to the last part, which is I don't support ethnic cleansing in Palestine. I think you're doing a huge disservice to pro-Palestinians when you start allying yourself with all these progressives. I don't think it looks good because you have all these conservatives in here who oppose war. They oppose intervention in the same tradition of Pat Buchanan and all the greats that came
Not
before
Donald
him.
Trump, though, sadly.
Yeah, it is sad. It is sad. I do agree. I mean, he ran on an anti-war ticket. He said
lied
he was
to you.
going to. I didn't.
Because he lies, right?
You gonna let me talk, or you
Sorry.
just want to? Yeah, true. So, I mean, yeah, you keep going back to Trump. I don't think this is part of his plan. I think this is a plan of lobbyists, and this is not just unique to Trump. It's been a thing since the Democrats. It's been a thing since the Republicans before him. It's been like this since Truman. I don't know if you read like John Mearsheimer's The Israel Lobby
have.
or anything like that. Would you
I have.
agree or disagree with anything like that?
Oh, I agree with Stephen Watt and John Mearsheimer, yeah, for
Okay,
sure.
great. So I'm just wondering, when you ally yourself with all these leftists and you come up here and you argue for immigration, you argue up here that Trump's this bad criminal and this and that, and then you
think Trump's bad too?
I think he's good on some questions and bad on other things. But let me get to my point here: is you ally yourselves with guys like Jewish Voices for Peace and all those guys.
Great people.
Yeah, not really though.
Why?
Because they're self-interested in it.
They're not. By definition, they're not.
It says it on their homepage.
By
that-
definition, they're not self-interested, right? They're going against their own
Are you
community.
going to let me talk? On their homepage, it literally says that we are here to segregate Judaism from Zionism. It's very clear they're doing this in their own interest. That's why it literally says Jewish Voices for Peace. They're going to be the good Jews who say that we don't support Palestine. And then what happens is you take all these progressives, you go out there and LARP in the street, and then everyone here who's conservative, they're going to vote for the pro-war candidate because they don't want to be associated with all the
Oh,
liberals.
so you're forced to vote for pro-war people. Poor
It's either that or get
conservatives.
replaced in my country. What do you want me to do?
Oh, you and your replacement bullshit.
Yeah, okay, buddy.
Oh, wow. That's 3 people so far. Let's keep counting. We should be nicer to you, otherwise you'll deport us. What a great argument. This is the free speech debate camp. It's not your country, my friend. It's our country, whether you like it or not. I thought Kai was, he smiled, he laughed, he did it. He disagreed. He did it in, I felt like it was good faith. Let's see.
I appreciate it, Eddie.
He seemed to be in good faith. He seems kind of smart. And, you know, he's one of the few people who doesn't want to deport me. Or maybe not. We're going to find out.
My claim is we should get rid of birthright citizenship.
Why do you want to get rid of birthright citizenship, and how, by the way? Because you know it's in the Constitution. I'm so glad you brought this up.
Yes.
Because it was one of my...
The 14th.
14th. I mentioned it to a bunch of your friends, and nobody wanted to engage in the 14th.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the 14th Amendment,
Exactly.
the Citizenship Clause, which says that if you're born here, you're a citizen of the United States.
Yes. I chose this because it's an extension of the original debate and the immigration debate.
Okay.
I think birthright citizenship, first of all, when it was originally argued, you know, among the people who were actually voting on the clause, right? It was argued that the birthright citizenship was not automatically extended to everybody who was just born here. And we have a long history of that as well, for example, with the Native Americans, who had particular laws that applied solely to them. What I think we're seeing in this country is not everybody is so similarly under the jurisdiction thereof of the United States, right? And by allowing for birthright citizenship and not interpreting the Constitution as we're legally allowed to and restrict, you know, the automatic citizenship of anybody who's born here, we actually remove the issue, for example, of family separation, because there is no incentive of a family to come over to this country illegally and then have a child, which is contributing to the awful situation we have in America of breaking up families. This is not something that I imagine you or I agree with.
No.
The issue is birthright citizenship has incentivized that.
So even if I were to concede that in some cases birthright citizenship has incentivized that, that, you know, I don't like the phrase anchor babies, but I'm not naive enough to pretend that there are not immigrants who come here and time the pregnancy in order to get. Of course, you and I can agree on that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you then rip up a constitutional principle that goes back centuries, goes back before the 14th Amendment. 14th Amendment came about, I think, in 1868, if memory serves me correctly. But the principle underlying it is actually from my other country, the UK, ancient English common law, right? So this was always the case. The 14th Amendment, as you know, because you seem well read, came along and codified what was already a principle in American and English law, that if you're born in the country, you are a citizen. Now, you mentioned the point about jurisdiction. There is that little bit in there where it says subject to the jurisdiction thereof. That in the debate, if you go back and read the debate that the senators had at the time, they were very explicit that that was to do with foreign ministers and foreign ambassadors. Diplomats living in embassies, their kids shouldn't be citizens. Obviously, they're here on their own. You know, the Argentine embassy in DC is Argentine soil. Yeah. So we accept all that.
Absolutamente, amigo.
But when they were asked about Chinese immigrants, Senator Trumbull, who was, I think, the chair of the Judiciary Committee back in the 1860s during this debate, he said at the time, Chinese immigrants' children, they're citizens. In fact, 1898, as you well know, we get Wong Kim Ark, Supreme Court case, Wong Kim Ark versus the United States. And the Supreme Court says, yes, even the child of undocumented Chinese immigrants is an American citizen. So this is a principle going back centuries. So while I can agree with you that there are cases that abuse the 14th Amendment, that there are issues of family separation, I'm not going to rip up a constitutional principle that goes back centuries and is backed by a 127-year-old Supreme Court precedent because Donald Trump is looking for ways to cut the number of brown and black people in the United States.
If you don't mind me interrupting, this is where I think it's important as well to go back to what we talked about with the Constitution. When we're analyzing, and admittedly, I'm not as interested in the legal argument. There's obviously many ways to interpret the Constitution, but I don't think, especially among conservatives, that it is positive to use the Constitution to dismantle it. When we analyze the original context, like you were saying, in the late 19th century, our immigration law was absolutely different, including, you know, in respect with the Irish and Chinese immigrants that were coming over. It was absolutely different.
We had open borders, my friend. Some people in this room would hate it. We had open borders for half of American history.
Well, that I don't think that's very true.
It's 100% true.
Well, hold on. If you're comparing the open borders, which I don't concede to, but if you're comparing the open borders prior to like 1910 and prior to the Hart-Celler Act, and you look at the amount of immigration and who was coming over.
Nice deflection. Amount is irrelevant. We did have an open border.
It is absolutely relevant.
Why?
Because the Constitution, like the founding
fathers. Hold on. Your argument is we had open borders, but there were fewer immigrants.
I was about to answer.
Okay.
It's important to analyze the context wherein these laws and parts of the Constitution arise. The original founding fathers said the Constitution was made only for a moral and religious people and is wholly inadequate to the government of any other, which means the people that wrote this document understood that it would not be able to properly...
Super secular people, but let's just be clear on that.
Oh, no, that's not true. They were deists.
A lot of them were super
No,
secular.
the majority were deists.
But they were secular. Secular doesn't mean atheist. You know what that means.
I understand that, but deist doesn't mean secular or atheist. It means they believe in a God, but not a God that's
I didn't say anything
particularly
about
present.
whether they're deist or theist. I said they're secular.
Okay, but secular
means
and
you separate church and state.
Okay, well, let's talk. We could even talk about that. That's a perfect example.
You're going to run out of your own time making your argument, which you haven't made so far.
I understand, but the separation of church and state is now completely differently understood than originally proposed. Thomas Jefferson, who talks about the wall of separation, which doesn't even exist in the Constitution, understood it in a different way.
Supreme Court precedent, as you well know.
Yeah, sure, but the precedent of the last 100 years, wherein the country has been completely different from its founding, should not overrule the original intent of the people who wrote the document that you and I are both citing.
Okay.
Which means,
but I'm not locked into what the people who wrote that. We've had amendments to the Constitution. You know that, right?
I understand that,
Okay.
and this is our fundamental disagreement:
Yes.
is that I don't believe
You think you could read the minds of people in the 1770s?
That's not true.
And I'm stuck.
I just believe this country ought to be more like the country we originally had, and I don't
Great,
think
that's
and
your opinion.
I
You're entitled to it.
I understand that,
but there's a factual basis to it.
Well, let me try to see what you believe.
Okay.
If we are voting on these constitutional amendments, if we are interpreting them, and our interpretation becomes absolutely, let's say, a 180 from what the original intent of the authors of that
Yes.
document is, are you in favor of that?
I guess it depends on the issue.
Okay, I would say no matter what.
So, for example, take the Second Amendment, which we kind of danced around. It's not been come up here and there.
Yeah.
You know the debate about the Second Amendment is the fundamental debate is one side says it's
Everything,
unlimited,
yeah. Mhm.
and the other side says no. What they meant was the militias.
Yeah.
They didn't, and they had muskets. They didn't mean AR-15s, right? So we can have that endless debate, which I really don't care for about that. But to come back to your point about the constitutional principles, the 14th Amendment comes along in the 1860s, so it's pretty old. It's not as old as America, but it comes along, and it's been around for 150 years. So if you want to get away with
it was around. It was around before 150 million Americans.
And I'm saying it was around before the United States was even created. It's part of ancient English common law. If you're born in a place, you're a citizen of that place, unless you're the child of a foreign diplomat or on a Native American reservation.
English common law did not exist simultaneously as millions of people coming across the border in a year.
Just to get to principles, your argument is numbers change everything because we've got so many more people.
Not solely, but absolutely.
Okay.
The demographics of your immigration absolutely change it.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question? If you got rid of the 14th Amendment, what would be in its place?
I think a citizenship test would be fantastic.
What age?
I wish.
What age?
I think we could administer it in high school.
To everyone?
Sure.
Or just the immigrants?
No, everybody.
And then if you fail it, you denaturalize white American
maybe you
native
can't,
born?
maybe you can't get a government job.
Denaturalize that dude?
I think there's plenty of benefits that the government offers people that you should not be able to receive.
I'll tell you this, right? This might sound bad,
and I think
I don't think people care for me anyway. So let me say something you might not like.
Nobody would pass it.
If you have a high school immigration citizenship test for everyone.
I think people will take citizenship more seriously.
I'm guessing the immigrant kids are going to outperform the white kids, and you might actually end up denaturalizing some of the white kids, and then people here will be really upset.
And well, hold on. And I like to be consistent about this. That's possible. But what I think it would do is it would give everybody a larger sense of the importance of citizenship.
So you would say no one born in this country is a citizen? No one? Or just
automatically no. Automatically no.
Wow.
I think we could extend that. You know, people who have a heritage in the country
what
of
are they until they pass the test? Undocumented?
I suppose, yeah. They are not able to receive government benefits. They're not able to receive government benefits. They're not able to apply for these jobs.
But
that
their
are
parents are
offered.
citizens.
Okay, well, hold on. We're talking here about the way that we would implement it.
Yeah, it's pretty important. If you're trying to get rid of the 14th Amendment, I'm going to ask about the practicalities of it.
And we're not,
Trump's doing it right now.
Hold on. And I'm not going to be able to explain it to you in 10 minutes. But what I can explain to you is that right now in this country, we have a crisis of people not
I don't accept that.
Hold on. We're not understanding what citizenship is. The way that you've referred to citizenship makes everybody who hasn't come to the United States an undocumented American citizen until the time they come over here.
That's how a lot of countries are, right? You know that birthright citizenship is operated by multiple democracies around the world. I know Trump lies and says, we're the only country that does it. He lies. That's not true. Multiple countries have
Do you think it
birthright
ought to be that way? Do you think everybody in the world is an undocumented American?
So, hold on. Well, or undocumented Canadian or undocumented Brit, right? Or undocumented.
Sure. Well, I'm an American, so I say America. But yeah,
but I'm saying, right, the principle is you immigrate. We have free movement of people around. I support free movement of people around the world.
But do you believe they're all
are you Kim Jong-un? You think people should only stay in one country and never leave and be blocked from leaving their country?
I think
that's a very illiberal and conservative position.
I think there's a big
libertarians
there's big room to move between being Kim Jong-un and saying that
not really.
Hold on.
In practical terms, if you accept,
I gave one side.
Please.
I want to give the other. There's a big room to move between being Kim Jong-un and saying that everybody in the world is an American, they're just not on our soil yet. I think being an American
that's a ridiculous
citizen,
statement, right? Because everyone in the world is not heading for the United States of
yes,
America.
yeah, but
in fact, right now, numbers of people coming in are dropping a lot.
But the idea that you are supporting is that the moment you come to this soil and that you're born here, you become an American. And
so I'm not saying at the moment you come to this soil, you become an American. I didn't. I had to do the test. Right?
Okay.
I had to do the naturalization process, which is guaranteed by the 14th Amendment.
But
the 14th Amendment also says if you're born here, then you automatically get it. And I'm not saying,
I think the problem we have,
it's a hill I'm going to die on.
The problem we have
All
is
I'm saying to you guys, what do you do instead?
we don't appreciate citizenship. The problem is that when you talk about immigration like we
we
did
can
before,
agree on that.
when we talked about everything before, what were we talking about? We were talking about products. We weren't talking about practices or perceptions, which is really what immigration is about.
Can I agree with you? We don't in this country value citizenship enough.
I agree.
I think we should encourage people to have more civics lessons in schools, understand American history and Constitution much more. Here's what's the irony is, I'm sitting in a room today where I've met a bunch of people claiming to be Native Americans who hate everything America stood for centuries.
I think they stand much closer to the America that we originally had, and I think that's the big disagreement.
I don't think any of you lived there or had any clue what that was like. And
But you've agreed to dismantling
things
it.
about that America.
But you've agreed to dismantling that America as long as it's legal.
You have. You're the person who came here and made your argument.
I'm a constitutional originalist.
Taking away an amendment of the Constitution. I didn't. I said keep the Second Amendment.
I'm an originalist. I think we should interpret it the way it was probably originally interpreted.
All right, guys, that's time.
Nice to debate with you, Kite. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I thought it would be an interesting exercise in trying to understand what genuine far-right conservative folks think. And it was kind of disturbing to see that they think what I thought they think, and they were happy to say it out loud. I am disappointed that I had to sit across from people who believe in white genocide, who believe I'm not a citizen. Multiple people here said I should be deported. One of them was even the child of immigrants, which I found bizarre.
Obviously, we were way outclassed. Like, we're not professional debaters. I don't think anyone in this room was. Maybe one or two people. And clearly, Manny, he does this for a living, right? He's a journalist. So he's really good at what he does.
Mehdi Hasan was pretty good at, taking cheap shots, trying to derail people from their arguments, trying to pit me against, some of the people that wouldn't like people of my color to be in the United States, which is irrelevant.
I think one person said as he walked off, you'll be the first to go, which is ominous and racist.
I think that was disheartening and particularly discouraging because it just felt like it was fitting into a stereotype that we're trying to fight against, which is we actually have arguments, we can provide good reason, and that rhetoric just pushes that far away.
I am, I guess, a far-right Republican, but as I learned today, not as far-right as I thought I was. Someone gets up and they're just like, yeah, I mean, I guess I just want to have autocracy forever and Christian nationalism, or just being like, yeah, I'm racist. And to me, that's very foreign of a concept.
While I didn't, disagree with most of the people in the circle, it did bother me at times, to see them say mean things. There's not really a reason to do that. But it also upset me when Mehdi said, I'm not willing to debate with those people.
Free speech doesn't mean you need to give credibility or oxygen or a platform to people who don't agree in human equality.
I hear Mehdi's point about not giving them a platform, but the thing is, if you stop giving them a platform, they don't just go away and change their mind. And then you tell the rest of society, no one exists who thinks like that, and that's not true.
I do like to debate people, even people I disagree with. I try and avoid bad faith folks. I think some of the folks today were bad faith. I'm anti-conservative, right? I don't support conservative views on taxation. I don't support conservative views on immigration. But the people here today were way beyond conservatives. This is open authoritarianism. And this is what is being normalized and mainstreamed in our country by people in power, by the media, by people who don't know any better.